streaming. They can take bleed now.
No. I mean, like he almost took a bleed in.
He wasn't
didn't
gonna
know it
call
was
it.
a bleed until I said, "Hey, it's a bleed."
So like, what happened? They were just like
Because it came in as an alpha level meth OD. And then I noticed neglect and weakness. And
oh shit!
Jackson, kill the door. Close the door, please.
Like, yeah.
What's on my face? What is on my face? Okay.
That's your pee-pee.
We're good.
I know what that means, Aaron.
The penis.
The penis.
The penis army.
That's in
Hoodie boys.
I need a
t-shirt boys.
Mine are pajamas.
Mine.
Not yours.
I guess I go with mine since you're using that for your phone.
No, of course not.
whiz.
Motherfucker.
Come on now.
Well, you know what? I'm a little rusty. I've been here a while.
It's been like 3 weeks.
I have my habits.
He's been gone for longer than 3 weeks. Because it was 3 weeks that we haven't played.
My life jacket.
I feel like if you open up every once in a while.
Yeah, but I just don't care.
What?
He said if Anthony opened up a little about his life, we would know more, and I said I just don't care.
I had a long talk with Anthony one night.
Yeah, I remember that.
Here?
Yeah. We bonded. But then he stole my man.
The little soul bond.
Am I your man?
No Rick and Morty here, guys.
Oh, thanks.
Honestly. How are you doing the rolls for the new characters?
Oh, bitch, you don't get to do that now.
Okay.
You gonna hope you don't have to roll nothing.
Or you just do it while we're playing.
Shane's very bitter. And you didn't get here, a half an hour early to work on the things.
So now you suffer the consequences.
I made a lot of really good friends today with one post on Twitter. I'm pretty proud of myself.
At least you have some points.
Uh-huh.
You're a hero.
I like the sexual conversation you had with Eliza regarding your.
Because I don't know if I'm technically a top or not.
You said top question mark?
Uh-huh.
Wait, I'm confused.
We're
He
all
asked-
confused.
He asked if your she.
Kid's door is open. Is that how she sleeps now?
She wanted the door open.
She asked if what you play in role playing games and stuff like that is connected with your position in bed. So she said she plays a tank, but she's also a bottom.
Which is a power bomb. Is there a class for lazy fuck?
I feel like a power bomb is still kind of a bottom. If you're a healer, you're a bottom.
I'm definitely a bottom.
Oh,
Change my mind.
Oh. Okay.
we're just learning a whole lot about each other today.
So how is everyone?
I'm doing good.
Uncomfortable.
I'm here, alive.
Are you
I have
uncomfortable?
birthday balloons in my
Top
car,
bottom
so
conversations.
I am
Where
not
are you,
bottom.
Michael?
I'm moving your chips because they're in the camera shot.
Michael,
You can
where are
reach them.
Totally, bro.
We're all sharing.
I'm straight.
Is that a question anymore?
Also,
Where's the drywall?
I don't remember.
Hello?
Anthony, your tower is in front of Justin.
What's in front of? Yeah, I don't. I'm.
Put it sideways in the slot.
Whoa. What?
Turn it so your rolls come to you, and that way other people also can't steal your tower.
Who's gonna? How would that?
You think Aaron's not gonna try and corrupt your tower? It's on top of a pencil, is why it's at an incline.
Is that gonna bother you?
Yes.
Okay. I'll do it.
I don't understand. Why do we have to spite Shane? I painted some.
Yeah, I saw that. Looks nice.
Giveaway log. Is there anything written in there?
There is. There's actually like 4 names in here.
Oh.
I forgot to turn on the giveaway though.
Oh. Well, I guess Jackson better do that.
Jackson's like.
Gonna need somebody to do that real quick so we
You're in
can
the
start
spot.
here shortly.
We gotta turn on that TV.
Bro, is that a sword?
Yeah. Hold on. It's my Miramasa blade, dude. Be gentle.
Wait, did you bring an actual? Oh.
It's my plastic.
I don't even have a sword.
No, my dad needs to send me my sword
Let me see if I can get on Streamlabs from my phone.
for Christmas. And it's awesome.
Stop talking shit about my mouse.
Atrocity.
It's the worst thing in the world.
Calamity.
It is not the worst thing in the world. It could
Where am I
be.
even going?
More.
You
I
gotta
feel like
More.
give me a second.
if
Give me
you
more
had
similes.
a normal mouse, it might bring about world peace.
You asked for this. You asked
I will.
for this.
Son of a bitch! I'm logged onto the wrong one. All right, we're gonna have to. Somebody's gonna have to coach him through this.
Don't look at me.
Can I just
Go down to
What
Firefox.
about the red X?
Nope. Go down to Firefox.
Streamlabs.
Milano cookies.
You don't have Firefox
Nutella.
icon here, bro. You talking about Chrome?
Just no. Oh yeah, Chrome. Sorry, Firefox crashed.
Those are two separate things, dude.
Type Streamlabs in the search bar up top. Right there. Click the Google. Okay, that's fine. Log in.
Turn works.
Go in. Log in. Click the 3 lines. 3 lines. 3 lines. There you go.
It takes time for my.
Scroll down to the bottom of that.
I don't.
Scroll down to the bottom.
Hey Shane,
Yeah.
how mad would you have been if I would have spent $50 on a new crown?
If you want to, go
We
for
were
it.
at Disney. They had one, and it was like this big around.
It was super cute.
It was adorable.
Anthony,
That just means we
full
can-
screen it.
Me.
Log in.
Shane, that just means we can get a $50 dice tattoo for us.
No.
But she's
Log in with Twitch.
down. It's the same price.
Let's say it.
Are permanent and
We
don't
already
fall
have
off and get
one. It's not
lost.
like he's gonna be ruined.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't even know if that one anymore. 'cause
Go
it's so little.
to on the side. It should be
It's the size
Pop
of
on.
a die. Oh, darn.
giveaways.
I didn't purposely make it the size of a die. It would just be really
Custom.
cute if it was. It's a
Plus
little bit
sign.
smaller.
You see how long this is taking?
Dice giveaway
With
1.
This.
What is 2?
I mean, honestly.
Just ignore 2.
Why is it there?
I don't know. Just
Can I delete it?
no. Just leave it alone right now. Now is not the time. Click Target giveaway.
Like I
You're
like to
gonna
look at
bother
other
me.
people's tattoos.
There.
Like, I
Now
can
turn off the
control
TV.
that, so it's not gonna get it. Right, Shane?
Yeah. Sure. All right. Giveaway's going.
Giveaway 2. You're sitting there, dude.
I don't know where giveaway 2 was from. I don't remember making it.
From Electric
Dang it, I need
Boogaloo.
more green cards.
Talk to Michael. He has all the cards.
I start marrying people from the country.
I say you got
To get a green card. Now you did
You gotta go back there.
All right.
10 feet higher.
What?
Wall.
It is.
I don't have time for this. My mental fortitude can't take it. All right. So last time,
On Dragon Ball Z.
I wish. God, I wish I was recording too. What? Kira's a brilliant writer. Fuck you.
Sure.
Kira Toriyama made Dragon Ball.
I enjoy Dragon Ball as much as everybody else.
I mean,
I'm not gonna pretend it has great
It's
writing.
actually like 6 years old.
I think that's fair.
What? Hunter x Hunter?
New anymore. Shut up,
The
Jackson.
original series is like 10 years old or 15 years
If I've
old.
never seen it, it's new to me.
Oh, I forgot you turn weed now.
All right.
Something like that.
So one more check.
Jackson's gone semi-weed.
Cool. Audio's working good.
I feel like you guys don't know what it is.
Did you listen to enough of the
Don't care. If you were here 30 minutes earlier, Aaron, you could talk all about Japan, but you showed up at 8 with nothing done. You don't get to talk anymore. You can sit there quietly and enjoy being in the room.
Did you hit up that one?
Shut up.
Wait, you got panties?
Shut up.
Definitely a jockstrap.
I really think so.
Okay, so last time going into
Dragon
it,
Ball Z.
So, just
the most important thing that we did learn last stream for Waterdeep, and is literally the most important thing we've learned so far. This doesn't make noise in the microphone. It just is only for personal enjoyment.
He's practicing for later.
Wow.
Andrew has been very kind to him.
All right. So, last time we rejoined the party as we met up with Solomon, guarding on his own, motherfucker.
Journey.
No, pilgrimage. There we go. Pilgrimage under the new god of Styrian-Voss. Leaving the city, the capital city of Valoria, he headed back to the Ember Isles to start where he had last left off. Upon arriving in Samakot, he learned that the city had been overtaken by a large overgrowth of vegetation, massive mangrove banks taking up most of the shores, leaving just a single small entrance. Entering in, he learned that the city had been taken over by a new ruler, a kind queen of Blythe, renaming the city Blythtopia.
Wait, what?
Blythe took over Samakot.
Which one was
She's got a full town.
The town that almost got ransacked by all the undead. It was slowly sinking into the sands.
Where,
You know, the obelisk.
The obelisk crashed in.
It's Blythtopia now.
Oh,
Where the Tiger Tag.
We considered Blythopolis, but you were pretty.
I said Blythtopia.
oh, where we sent them through the portal or through the door?
Yeah,
Okay.
they came back. The city had also taken in refugees, a sect of earth elementals and Gensei that had been managed to break free from slavery under Blythe, that had managed to get them free, allowing them to make a new home within the city. Yes.
Belt ring. What was your card?
The Hayun thing?
Iron Stone of Insight.
Gracious.
That's the ass.
Meeting up, Solomon met up with a Earth Gensei giant that wished to also travel to the Ember Isles on the encouragement of Blythe. The Gensei, Torok, joined Solomon as they headed to the Ember Isles, and eventually, upon arriving there, met up with an old friend. Through a small scuffle with some fire giants, the group managed to free some fire elemental and earth elemental slaves as well, and are currently sitting on the banks after learning of an upcoming
And
tournament.
a fire ganassi.
Yes, fire ganassi and some earth ganassi. So you are sitting on the banks. You guys have just finished a long rest. Because you've been fucked up. And Alma is asleep for 3 days?
4 days.
4 days. She's in slumber. She is still a +2 sword.
Okay.
She's just not, you don't have any of the fire abilities with her.
Great.
Gracious again.
Yeah.
So
Michael, how do you say it? Ganassi?
Genasi.
Genasi. How do I say it?
You say it,
Can't say.
You say it
Phonetically?
in the same way as
Yeah.
you are one.
Yeah, I say it phonetically.
so I already relayed to Solomon because you spoke to your priest guy,
Right.
and you see to that you would directly be talking to him, which you haven't shared, which whatever. But I think that's the last thing we talked about. Was we talked about the tournament. We were doing our prayer, and Torok was eating a bowl of Fruity Pebbles.
That's right.
I'm not exaggerating.
No.
He
He eats gemstones. Yes.
Gemstone pebbles.
I max out con and wisdom. That goes up to +5.
I assume
Yes.
it's a
You also increase your hit points by 10.
Did you make sure though you can only have 3 of those pink items on?
Yeah, you can only have 3 pink items.
Yeah,
we discussed it. He's doing the
I still
the
have
jawbone, the stone, and the beard.
So, Ketra,
Yeah, so
it appears we need to try and find the rest of our crew, if you will.
yeah, no, that's fair. So you haven't seen Ted, you haven't seen Jacob. Ariel, have you been in contact with anyone? I've been on this island for like 2 years.
I'll be honest. As soon as I got thrown off the island, I was done with the situation. I was making it to Valoria. I've been.
Just a quick pause. Shine, do
Yes.
they know that the island blew up?
Oh, those two don't.
You should probably inform.
Oh no, I remember talking to Anthony about it previously.
Okay.
But yeah, the island was blown up. The stones that had been scattered across the island by the twins were detonated, blowing up the island, killing most of the city, the Amazon population, and ripping the volcano in two. A massive gate, probably about 200 to 300 feet tall, now sits slowly rotating as an opening to the fire elemental plane, in which sects of giants have begun walking through, bringing slaves and everything. Sex.
Okay.
Sex.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome up to speed. Of the world, yes.
We
Yeah, whatever.
So everybody went their own way for 2 years.
face.
Yes, everybody's. Most of the party was blown off the island. Ariel is MIA at this point. Ted was blown into the ocean, and no one managed to get him. Solomon's was boiling on the surface and was picked up by a fisher boat and just assumed that everybody was dead. Blythe teleported to safety and made it back home, and Tobiah went into the plane of fire looking for something and hasn't been heard from since.
Tobiah gone.
Jacob also is MIA. Nobody's seen or heard from him, but that will be for another day when Anthony's here, or when Kevin's here, because that's gonna be funny.
So,
How many people do you think know about
what, the tournament?
that?
Yeah, I bet you the Heavenly Seven know about the freaking
I bet they
tournament.
do, but also the.
Yeah, I'm saying freak. You know, I've been
He's
going
meddled.
into the forest. I've been trying it out. I only say it very sparingly at this point.
Oh well, the more you do something, you get used to it.
Yeah, I guess so. I feel like, you know what? I didn't like to say it. Fudge. Let's just backtrack here.
All right. Anyway,
Yeah, I bet they fudging know about it.
the elemental gates. Who else knows about that?
Well, that's a great question. Well, we're looking at possibly going to where the Earth one is, correct? Back to the life tree.
Right.
Which, how are we going to get there? One, without a boat. How are we going to get back to, was it Blythe-topia?
Yes, we call it Blytopia.
How are we going to get there to Blythe-topia? How, you said you teleported?
We did something that I'm still not okay with, but
So,
I don't know how we're gonna get back personally, unless
I
you have a way
think
back, Torok.
I think I can get us back. Yes.
alright. Hold that thought. What are the Ganassi going to do? Just bottom line.
Can they use my circle?
We'll see.
Okay.
Anyway, what's going to happen with the fire Ganassi? Do they go back to the plane? Do we have to worry about them? Or are they coming
I
with?
think I would like to take them back to Blytopia with us.
They are all pretty worse for wear. Just kind of look at them like they're just hungry. You can see they're kind of mostly skin and bone. You would recognize this almost immediately as very slave-like, malnutrition. They got burns and stuff like that, markings on their forearms. The one that you guys have been talking to a lot, what was his name, Michael?
Marco? It was something with a name.
I want to say it was, but I can't remember exactly what it was.
No, Jagrin.
Jagrin is he seems to be the worst for wear because you would know him from back home. He was very outspoken as an individual, so he probably mouth off a bit more. He kind of walks a little bit of a limp, and he kind of is always holding this arm a little bit. You can see he brought some long-term scarring up on here where he probably got hit hard enough to do some serious damage to that shoulder.
I think that they would prefer to be back with their people.
Agreed. So, prepare how we're going to get there. I have to take a quick detour. I will be right back.
Where you going?
Just going to go check, Jaden's stuff, and I don't want to leave the swords there.
Yeah, that's probably not.
I'd rather bring them with, like, I already have Griswold stuff. Maybe I'll leave the helmet, but I figure they can't just stay here. What if someone finds them and they're
Right. Well,
dangerous?
anybody from the Heavenly Seven could be coming back to check this gate.
Yeah, not a bit it. Not a bit it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go back to where I pushed Jaden into the lava.
Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, he also executed a man. The end of last scene.
I executed Anakin Skywalker.
I feel like that's a stretch.
So we had some Mount
What
Doom
about my
Sword
puppy?
ring shit going on.
We'll get there.
Who was Jaden again?
Jaden was the person that trained him.
Okay.
We let him die the way that he should have died.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he pushed him into lava.
As a brother.
I had the high grounds. It worked out. I'm gonna get the two swords. I'm gonna put them in the footlocker with Griswold's hammer.
Unrelated. Just learned this the other day.
Yeah.
In the scene where Luke fights Vader the first time, and Vader gets knocked down to the bottom of the stairs, he says Obi-Wan trained you well because he had the high ground.
Hilarious.
How did I never notice that?
I just learned it the other day in a meme.
I'm a good fan.
Oh, apparently.
Okay.
Obi-Wan just thought you
So
would.
I would like to take out my sending stone.
Mm-hmm.
Blythe.
Yes.
I like the idea of it having a ring when he picks it up.
Turok is calling. Turok.
Can it be a banana phone?
Yes.
Banana
Hi Blythe. I've got a few of my family that we rescued here. Do you think that we can teleport them back to Blythtopia?
You can try.
Are you gonna dump me in the ocean again?
All right.
Who dumped him in?
the boat that you sent them on, collapsed them and poured them into the ocean, and they almost drowned.
Where did we
You
decide?
ended up fine.
Was it on
Hindsight's
the
Wingtips.
20.
Life, are you okay?
Okay.
On the armor.
We don't care.
All right. I'd like to start pulling my armor off.
So, Ketra and Solomon, as you guys are sitting here, he starts pulling his armor after talking to Blythe about opening a way to get them home, getting everybody home. And he looks like he's getting naked as he starts lifting this shoulder, this massive pauldron. It goes actually like further past his arm and kind of hangs. And as he starts picking it up, you see it start to shift and move as well, like it's connected as one large piece that almost wraps him. And as he finally gets the head fully up, you can see this eye kind of open as it kind of shits and shakes its head for a minute. And you're as this massive arm comes reaching off his back that seems to be holding on as this creature starts to climb off of him.
Hey, Turok, what's that?
My friend.
Yeah, no. Any other friend? I've seen the friend in the pot. No, I have a friend too. Orion. Who's that?
He's another friend.
As it gets fully off of Turok and climbs onto the ground, you see this dragon. It's draconic, long drawn face. It's kind of muttering something under its breath as it kind of climbs down.
My people are tasked with protecting these dragons. This is one of the very few that made it out after we were attacked.
Dragon easy.
An obsidian dragon.
Who mistake? Alright, you just had an dragon just hanging.
Across his entire body on all of his massive scaling. Unlike regular dragons that are scaled, these are more like large pieces of stone that kind of hang on his body. You see these runes that are carved in all across him. And as he gets down, he kind of shakes and his wings open up and sprawl. And you can see his wings have an encrypted runes all along the edges. And as he gets down, he looks and he's like
I'd like to say into Primordial, Blythe would like to come join us. Could you make way for her?
So he growls, he kind of crouches down, and as he does, he brings his wings and they connect to make a circle.
I feel more angry for you.
I would like to.
Because you had to go into a ship.
I would like to kneel down and show respect for him as he's doing it.
As you kneel, the runes start to light and glow. As you see energy start arcing between them, and as he begins to run and fuel, this door slowly starts to open up in the center of his wings. Are you coming through, or are you waiting for them to come through?
They were coming to me. Am I
Okay.
to them?
I thought we were going there.
Yeah, I also thought we were going there.
Okay.
Alright.
So there's the dragon he's large or medium in size, medium to large in size. Yes.
If he's the,
Circle.
does he not come?
He's gonna fly home.
I don't know what that works. I'm not sure.
He's gonna have to fly.
I'm actually trying.
Into his own circle, right?
He's gonna have to fly there. It's gonna take him a minute.
Wow.
We got 4 days. I need my sword back.
His fly speed's what, 120?
I don't think we gave him a high height fly speed because we didn't want to abuse it.
As long as you know. Well, he's medium in size. You can't abuse it.
Oh, okay. I think it was that then. We just took it off the paper.
Yeah, so you'd have a 120 fly speed. He can fly.
So,
I would like to motion my people onto the transportation circle first.
So they step up onto his leg as he's kind of crouched down. He almost looks like he kind of crouches into a platform almost.
I would expect all of them watching would see that they all walk up and bow in front of this creature as well.
They bow. Some of the earth elementals being more akin to creatures of this nature, you can see they give him take like small stones and stuff like that, like obsidian from the scorched earth from the volcano, as they kind of put him in front of him as like offerings as they step onto his shoulders or step up onto his leg as a step and then step through the gate as they disappear through this portal.
should I be bowing? No, definitely that's the thing. Okay. Don't call me a thing.
I don't want to know the dragon.
Do you think it has a name? I mean, you can ask, but I don't think we speak in the language. After you, language.
I will also bow.
So you bow to the wizard or the dragon. Sorry.
to the wizard.
As you bow, it doesn't seem to acknowledge you. It's kind of resting its head. It looks like it's almost back asleep. As this creature sits still, it looks like stone. Like, especially when Turok was wearing it, you never would have known this thing was alive. It doesn't breathe. It doesn't move. It just seems to almost go to a slumber.
Oh.
You kind of bow. It doesn't move as you step onto its leg and step into the gate. You feel this rush. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw. It's the first time you guys use the teleportation circle.
You're gonna shit your britches.
Are you
You're
saying content?
welcome.
Yeah, everybody thank Becca for taking that as a spell.
No, I appreciate it.
So now the party has a means of travel.
That's a 15.
15? Okay.
Always go back home.
So you,
Blythobia.
as you step through, you kind of get this nauseous feeling, but you manage to keep yourself together.
Hell yeah.
As you look out, as you see that you are standing in the center, around the well at the center of Blythopia. You see the other, Ganassi? I was told I'm saying it wrong by like 4 people. At this point, I'm just going to try and fix it. The Ganassi standing around, and they immediately begin getting greeted by the others that you have seen in the city. They're hugging and embracing. You can see this like family that had been separated. Ketra, are you going next?
I mean, would you mind me going next, or do you want to?
Please do so. I got to make arrangements as to how my friend will get back home.
Yeah, no, that's right. Thank you for your patronage, and I appreciate you as a rock dragon.
I think he's asleep.
Tell him what I see.
Certainly.
Right. This is gonna hurt my tummy.
I'm not really sure. I don't have much of a tummy to rumble.
Fair.
Ooh, do you throw out mud?
Ew.
Yeah.
He does now. Poop a step. I'm gonna go in. You said,
Well, that's
Con save.
concert.
That ended up near me, I think. I heard it slide this way.
back
I'm gonna
memories.
throw up bag.
Back memories.
It never stops. Thanks, appreciate it.
No, not dying.
Do we decide this teleportation just goes between these two, this circle?
Okay.
It's the one that goes back to Blythobia.
Right, right.
10. So, Solomon, you kind of right yourself and you stand up waiting for Blythe to show up as Ketra comes through the portal and immediately just heaves next to you on the ground.
Oh,
It upset my tummy.
I see that.
Oh, that was so bad.
I feel like we've encountered worse things.
We have. I found a fire giant.
Right. I mean, amongst other things.
Yeah, no, a lot has happened.
Drock,
I would like to try to wake him up.
this is just one eye. It's this solid crimson. He doesn't have a pupil or any other
Right.
discernible detail within the eye. It's just this crimson opening.
I fear leaving you alone. Will you be okay flying back?
I'll make it.
I'm sorry you have to do this.
It's not far.
Our
I'll
people,
feed on the way.
our people appreciate what you've done. I will see you back home. I'll make sure Blythe has a nice meal made for you.
He kind of shakes, and as he does, all this dust and pieces of stone kind of fall out from under his scales. He starts to adjust his body, and he goes, "It's going to take me several hours to get there. You should go."
I understand. I'll put my head against his,
He kind of rests his head against yours.
and then I'll climb up on his wings.
You step through the gate, and as he does, he opens his wings and launches himself into the air. You make a con save. 16. So you land next to Ketra and Solomon, and you see Ketra is just hurled all over the floor.
I feel better.
You've made a mess in Blythtopia.
I assume that I'm there waiting.
Don't let Blythe
yet.
see you.
How am I gonna? How can I
So-
fix these?
Ketra,
Can I fix that?
this city is different than what you remember. The buildings are partially crumbled, but held in these large root systems that kind of suspend them up. A large canopy covers, only letting certain specks of light kind of break through in. It's this very green, very beautiful forest. The whole floor is covered with this rich layer of these purples and reds and kind of different grasses that kind of roll and shift and move. Small breezes roll through. It's humid, but also comfortable. It seems to be well maintained and
I'd
regulated.
like to say I'm in my civilian clothes, so I'm not.
Armored up.
Yeah. I'm all right.
I'll go ahead and press digitation and vomit away.
Just gonna throw it someplace.
Thank you.
I'll have like ground sucking down.
Oh, it's like the filthy smart house.
I'm not sure what you're speaking of.
Is that on there?
Yeah, it
is. Oh my god.
I tried getting.
Is one of the Irish on there?
Yes.
It is.
Oh my gosh.
I tried
I
getting
need
the
to
girls to
watch
watch
that.
either one of those. They refused.
Those are names.
All right.
What happened to your child? Who hurt you?
Okay, boomer.
Who hurt you?
I love the Andy Griffin show.
Peak
Bro,
2000s.
We need Nickelodeon Plus. That's what I watch.
That's fair. No, I'd be on board for Nickelodeon Plus. You give me some Angry Beavers.
Kablam.
Let's focus though.
Okay.
I just saw it. I got excited about the Smart House.
Free advertising. It's free real estate.
What are you doing, Shane?
Yes. So you all, as you're kind of looking through the city, waiting for Blythe to show up, this shadow kind of encompasses the ceiling for a moment. As this figure begins to descend down,
Boy.
wings fluttering in the light, kind of obscuring things to an extent. It's not Blythe. It's probably a medium-sized humanoid figure as it starts to descend down from the trees.
And what is this?
Welcome to Blythe-topia.
Life, what the fudge? I almost said freak.
Who are you?
I'm Blythe.
No.
It looks like Blythe. It's just
It's like
Yeah.
she's like 5'4".
Are you Blythe's sister?
Now that I am a true and rightful queen to Blythe-topia, I had to be.
by the way.
We'll get there.
Okay.
Mhm.
I had to be taller so my subjects could better.
That sounds like something Blythe would say.
How did you do that though?
Right.
It's a bracelet.
Ah, got this handy dandy bracelet.
What does that do?
Makes you people size?
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
how's ruling things?
Pretty fabulous. I'm the best queen.
does it make a
Blythe is indeed the best
people-sized
queen.
person really tall?
I don't know. No.
You didn't even know what I was gonna say yet. Are you down on the floor yet?
She still flutters.
How like
Probably like 3 or 4 feet off the ground. She's probably about. Her head would sit where Torok's head is, because Torok's like 8'6".
yeah, no, I'm dragging it down into a bear.
Okay.
One bear hug.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
so happy you're okay. I'm so
That's what
happy.
he was.
He doesn't have an arm.
Petra,
Yeah.
what happened?
What? You got big. That's what happened.
But this is like a half of a hug? I'm used to like a full.
Oh, it's been 2 years. I forgot.
Well, that's because you didn't write me.
Or
Or
swim.
visit.
How would you feel if I said I was left-handed? Yeah, right, if I don't have an arm. That's not the case, though. There's no postage where I was. I was training. There was no postage at all.
If you really loved me, you would have found a way.
Ruff, I didn't have an arm, and I thought everyone died. The island exploded.
You didn't even try to find me!
How do you know that?
Because you didn't find me.
You didn't look for me.
I knew you were.
I feel like that's not true. You would have said something to scorn me.
I was waiting for you to text me first.
Nope. If you knew where I was, you should have reached out.
Whatever.
I'm very happy to see you. Don't make this like my anger any kind of like misjudgment that I'm not really tickled. I'm so happy to see you and stuff. So Wally May bit my arm off.
What happened to Wally May then?
He like got yelled at, and also he bit Jacob's hand off.
Who cares?
I mean,
got it, yeah.
so I have like a mechanical arm, but it's just I recently just got it and it's steel off.
As you guys are talking, the refugees are kind of embracing. They kind of are dispersing through the city. Commoner comes running up. He's the equivalent of like the only town guard that isn't Torok. He's a young man. His name is Fellow. He's kind of what?
Fellow.
Hello, fellow.
Yeah.
Yikes.
He's been doing his best to train with Torok and some of the other Genasi. As he's kind of comes running up, he's got like a short sword at one side. He's in like this patchwork leather armor that he's made himself, and he's like, "My lady, there's something on the docks."
Well, let's go find out what it is,
Should I put on my arm?
fellow. is a silly name.
I like the idea that Blythe named him because she didn't want to give him a people name because she assumed he wouldn't make it long.
We had a people name and told her, and she's like, "Hey, you."
She doesn't.
Fellow.
She doesn't remember.
He has a lot of subjects.
Do we want to switch it to Guy? And that's
No, there needs to be other subjects. There's Guy, Buddy, you.
Yeah.
I've already written fellow in pen. It's set in stone.
his name is spelled. There we go. People in the town have been renamed by Blythe because she doesn't want to dedicate herself to learning their names.
There's definitely one girl named one with the.
That is pretty funny.
It's funny, but I feel like Blythe, as the wonderful ruler that she is in Blythtopia, wouldn't be that callous to her subjects.
That's true. That's true.
She's the best ruler.
So, how much is a Blythe of water anymore?
How big is that?
Astronomical.
We spent a long time learning all these measurements.
Yeah, exactly. Now I gotta relearn measurements, man. All right, let's go to the dogs. It's good to have a band back together.
Most of the band.
Well, you know, half the band.
Good time.
So,
We're getting the band back together.
heading towards the docks, there is this figure looming on the docks. Large pieces of seaweed and algae hanging off of it. It's kind of just strutting toward the dock. You hear the creaks of the board under its massive weight as it's just moving towards you. This long, drawn secondary arm.
Should we kill it?
One side is just huge and dragging across the dock as you hear this cracking and breaking of wood.
I put on the arm.
You're all standing there at the dock entrance.
I'm confused.
It's this massive creature covered in seaweed and barnacles,
Okay.
pieces of coral growing off of it,
Okay.
sea life kind of falling and crawling across the dock as the dock is kind of creaking and going.
Of course.
I'd like to pull my hammer.
This is a peaceful land in Blythtopia. Creature,
Not if it's gonna hurt us.
So now, don't put on the arm.
can you speak?
Creature, can you speak?
What in tarnation? Ted!
Ted!
I'm not sure what this is.
I lost my arm and your arm's bigger!
Should I smash it?
Have you been working out, man?
Man, I've been doing something.
I'm
I'll
gonna,
tell you what the hell happened?
I'm gonna go hug Ted.
He's covered in seaweed. As you hug him, some sea lice climb off of him and kind of crawl onto the dock. Those giant white cockroaches, one stuck to the side of his face. It kind of falls.
Phil and Will.
Oh, have you got any fish?
And he, yeah, I tried to get a bird, and he, it was just a carcass because I was at the bottom of the ocean.
Oh, he drowned.
Alive anymore. Yeah.
Oh. You look good, though. You
Well,
look big.
thanks. I mean, I kind of can't help it. Every time I scrape one off, when it's there.
The extended arm up close now you can see it's just him dragging the jawbone behind him.
Oh, okay.
It's the big old club.
Yeah, it's just my club.
No, it's good.
So, what
No.
happened?
I missed that. It's been 2 years.
Wait, what?
So, yeah,
Yeah, you've been gone for 2 years.
as
man.
I'm sure you know,
Solo Man! I'm gonna give Solo Man a hug.
He is. He hugs you. Barnacle kind of scrapes you a little bit.
Yeah,
There's that low tide like seaweed stank that's just rolling off of him.
Barnacle poop. It's poops. Hey, Barnacle's poop.
it's a
You just all kinds of gross right now.
Well, I mean, I've been,
He's slimy, like just that uncomfortable slimy.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a bath after this, but I'm just happy to see all my friends.
well, I remember a big old explosion,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then water. Then I woke up and I was covered in sand and fishes.
well.
And a big old squid tried to get me. That was the beginning of my troubles down there.
You fought a squid?
I fought a lot of squids.
How many squids?
My last kill count, and I have several markings on my legs. All of the creatures that I've had to kill.
He carves suction cup markers on his side every time he kills a squid.
They look
There's
like nipples.
there's crab claws for every giant crab he fought. He's just covered on one side of his body because Ted's right-handed, so it's all got to go on the left.
Yeah,
That must have
because
been really hurtful.
I've done a lot of fighting.
That must have been really hurtful for you, like emotionally.
Well, I mean, they started it. So I tried, I can't speak squid.
Yeah.
They don't understand, stop.
That's true.
No
He
doesn't
doesn't
mean no to a
speak
squid.
No, it's true.
I'll tell you.
It's fair.
Why? Why are you big? What happened? Did you get cursed?
No, I'm a queen.
Oh, okay. I run into a mermaid once.
Welcome.
First me and it wasn't good.
Welcome to the life.
So where you guys learned Ted spent 6 months as a person because he was cursed.
He was a man. Mugs, not a fan.
Yeah, mermaid tried to seduce me, turned me into a human, as it were.
Had a penis. All I kept thinking was with it.
It didn't last too long because I couldn't breathe, so she had to change me back real quick.
So yeah, Rolf is a queen now.
No, thank you. Hey, Val.
Ah, why?
I'm a queen.
Can't you just present as your man?
Sure.
She presentations all your seaweed and everything back into the ocean. You're just clean Ted.
Never change, Ted.
No.
It's all your friends.
How long it took me to acquire that?
He had a coral colony that was growing perfectly on his back.
It took me 4 months just to find a piece of seaweed that matched. It's all green.
You're welcome.
It's over.
There. What about? Why would Phil Wilson do that?
They were on everything, so you flung it to the ocean.
Can't you just not get it back? Can't they just come back? Are they holding crap?
Something you gotta set it free.
Wasn't Phil too dead as well?
Listen, there's a lot of Phils that have been murdered in our time together. I guess nothing changes.
Which apparently we're all still alive.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Anybody heard from Tobiah or Ariel?
No, Tobiah went to the fire plane.
What was that?
Just
Is that the Furman?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was Furman.
Alright.
Yeah.
Alright.
Blythe, I have a very important question to ask of you. Queen Blythe. Sorry.
Yes.
Do you have a bar anywhere?
Well, of course.
Okay, can you please point me in that direction? Because it's been 2 years and I'm getting a little jittery.
Before we do that, I would like to give you a full tour of Blythtopia.
Okay.
Is this to spite me or to spite you?
Can I have a beer in my hand, though?
We can montage it. We don't have to actually, but I want to be a
montage.
couple hours before he gets to the bar.
I do have a quick question.
Where's fellow? Yeah, what's up?
Hey, what happened to your arm there?
I get really touchy about it. No, I'm just kidding. Why do you make me it off?
I don't know what that means. You can't touch nothing with no arm.
I know. It was a pun.
Oh.
Let me give you a hand.
I feel like we should be saying those things to you.
No, it's just Wally May bit into it.
Which one's that?
The Sharkman.
Oh.
Not to be confused with Gilman.
Okay.
Or Blumen.
Blumen.
Yeah.
Oh, what happened to Blumen? He dead too?
I don't know. I assumed you were with him because you're underwater.
Nah, I ain't run into no Blumen, no Grayman, one Fishman. That was weird. Yeah, that's about it.
That's about it. Yeah, no, I just...
Lots of squid.
I've got like a robot arm now.
Well,
I mean, your word, sorry. I don't know who it belongs to, though.
It's a hard R, man.
Oof. Wow.
I have an Obot arm now.
Alright, I'm gonna clank it a little bit.
I'm not wearing it.
Yeah, it's in his bag.
It's in the, oh. Shit.
Well, when I put it on, when we get to the bar, I'll put it on, and maybe you can tell me who it belongs to, because Jaden wouldn't tell me.
Oh, because all robots know every other robot.
No, I just assumed you would be able to look at it.
I see how it is. No, it's fine. It's fine. 2 years gone. Bring it on. Fine.
I would.
I'm the bad guy.
I kind of rambled to myself for a while because I'm only used to talking.
He's only talking to him.
When there seems to be a moment of reprieve from his rambling, Torok will step forward and say, "My name is Torok.
Torok?
What's he look like?
He's huge. So he's like 8'6", 8'7".
Yeah,
So he
7
stands like a foot taller than you. Gray skinned with long cracks in it, like cracks in the earth, and you can see what's the last stone you ate?
Obsidian.
Obsidian. So you see this black kind of rolling fire and like lava underneath his skin. Yeah.
I hail from the cliffs of creation. It is pleased to make your acquaintance.
Good to meet you, Robin.
I grasp your...
He's strong.
I'm all country Ted.
Hello, country Ted.
He's on par with you in strength.
Get the TBI again on the way.
Russian Ted.
Deep voice Torok is really hard.
Well,
Don't do deep voice very well.
Hello, comrade.
Oh, my tooth fell. You mean our
A little
tooth.
mermaid had her way. It was very uncomfortable.
Heading through the city, Blythe gives you a very, very drawn out,
Detailed. I introduce you to all of the plants
Oh, good.
individually.
Good. You know, I just see something that's not seaweed.
subjects walk up and Blythe's like, bah, bah, bah. And she,
Wait, come back.
I feel like they are also introduced to my.
I assume that you wouldn't, because then Ketra could talk to them and try and get things from them.
But who takes care of the plants?
As you very painstakingly walk them around the town. When you guys come to the end of this 2-hour tour, you can see where you guys started the tour, right at the entrance of the town. The tavern is literally the opposite direction that Blythe took you.
Of course it is.
It's literally the first building when you enter the town.
Look what you did with the place, black, like the green, like the flowers and whatnot.
So I was really going for a nice, you know, utopia, but Blythe-topia.
So there's a pun there, like it's a utopia.
Yes.
Like you as in you or
You
you?
as in you.
Okay.
But if you're saying you, then it's me.
No, it's Blythe.
I'm like halfway into the door of the tavern, but I still want to be part of the conversation.
Can we retcon this and draw it out for like 4 hours because I was taking notes?
Do we have refugee camps set up here, like refugee home housing?
You guys are housed underground. So the earth elementals have actually taken the time to take the ground underneath the city that was very loose, and you guys have actually compacted it to make stone and build a tunnel system under the town.
What about the fire genasi?
They would live down there too.
Okay.
They just have rolling fires and stuff like that.
During that 2 hours, can I take that time to go but to acclimate our new members
Yeah.
and get them homes?
Get
and
them situated in the town. Yeah, of course.
And then I'll meet at the tavern afterwards.
All right.
When I go into the tavern, I'm gonna Stone Cold Steve Austin it and just kind of like over here and have him throw me a beer, and then I'm just gonna be really excited.
Can you roll to catch it?
First, I have to roll for the bartender to throw a mug of ale and not it just spill everywhere as he throws it across the bar. I got a natural 20. I do need you to make a dex save though to catch it.
I feel like you should have disadvantage because you have one hand.
It's beer. Oh, that was a D12.
Oh.
Whoops.
Double 16s, natural 16s.
Yeah, so you catch it.
Hell yeah.
As he slams this beer, walking in. As you walk in, the bartender, he kind of nods and bows down to you. As he motions. In this bar, there is a section of the bar that is roped off. It has one very large chair seated with a U-shaped table that kind of goes away from it so that no one can sit directly in front of Blythe either. They have to sit to the sides of her as she goes up to her large throne and sits down.
Who designed this?
I did.
Look at the table.
Yeah, clearly.
I'd like my name also carved on the table.
It's carved all over the place. It literally throughout the town, flowers spell your name. It's everywhere.
Whose table is this?
Seriously?
Yeah, I'm just wondering. Oh,
It's not even carved. It's actually grown into the grain of the wood. You see, it's just Blythe written across the whole thing.
I'm a queen. I can do whatever I want.
I mean, at this point, I'm so exhausted to argue that. You guys want to see the arm? Do you want to see the arm?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
It's a cool.
I'm gonna unflip the foot locker and I'm gonna take out my arm.
Pop it in.
It's this black metal arm that in between the spacing is like what?
It
5?
As it moves and pulls, you can kind of hear it kind of shifting, and you do see there is something red kind of moving underneath it.
It's still awkward and a little janky, but no, it still works. Yeah, it works really good.
So Ted, certain parts of you were hollow, just from spacing and stuff like that. This is solid. Whatever this is a little bit not better constructed, but differently constructed.
More mouth here.
Do I know anything about this arm?
Roll a
robotics, as it were.
roll an intelligence check.
We have a doctor in robotics.
I want to say the highest intelligence score in the party is not Torok.
It might be 10.
I have an 11.
No, there is somebody. There is somebody in the Ironstone. His is of whatchamacallit, wisdom.
Did you say an investigation or just?
Yours is on par with somebody else. How are your stats this good?
I have a
I sent
12.
you the picture.
Yeah, I know. I'll check it again in a minute.
I have a +2.
Was this an investigation?
And that's after all of like my level.
Because I'm
Yeah.
investigating it.
Yeah,
Software.
so 20. Looking over Ted, where you're a Warforged, a living, not breathing, but creature, like you exist on your own. You're not under command or control of something. This seems to belong to some type of golem. This is arcane energy that you see rolling through it that ties this thing to some other creation.
That right there. That's a golem arm right there, man.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's a golem arm.
Oh.
So that's supposed to be protecting something else.
Is that what golems do?
For the most part.
Well, I'll be keeping it for now.
They try to protect rings.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, so
So y'all
That's all that for.
drinking, catching up.
since we have everybody here, I don't want to cut the reunion short.
Food is being brought to the table.
Do my classic throw up.
Drink in your
It's
face.
been a while.
Drinking.
Have they created earth elemental drinks?
It's like mud, different gemstones. Think of it like cucumber water,
Ooh.
just gemstones put in there. So like,
Wait. He eats gemstones?
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's,
Yeah, his magical armor is pretty solid, and it's tied to that. So it's like, think of like cucumber water, and like there's like aids here because there's citrus plants and stuff like that, like lemonades and limeades.
oh, like what the shit?
Yeah.
Said it like
The
that.
town's
Why would you say it?
the
That
town's having a really hard time.
I
It's the one problem.
I thought this was a utopia.
The one thing Blythe can't fix, the HIV.
Oh my
I said there's
God.
AIDS here, as in like lemonades. They took it as in like HIV.
How the fuck else you supposed to say? Who the fuck
How there's
says
AIDS here?
Who
Like
the fuck
what?
ever says AIDS
In my defense,
as an abbreviation for lemonade?
in defense of me, I am me. I make up the way I want to say things, and I just go with it.
They're different kind of like.
There's a so outside of the town there is orchards of different plants and vegetation and everything. The town is predominantly vegetarian with fish and stuff like that because there's no cattle.
I feel like Blythe would have her own signature cocktail.
She would.
What is it?
A blind.
What is it, Blythe?
It's just
Is it just the Blythe?
the blind on the beach.
I want Truvada for crap.
Oh, there's a whole line of that.
They have a whole different cocktails.
Shit, where's that?
A Blythe Hatton?
I'll have
Yes.
a Blythe-a-rita.
That's what all of the names and
All the drinks in the entire town are named after Blythe. So you have a Blytherita.
What kind of ale is this?
I have a blind espresso.
It's a blogger.
What is a Blythe Arita? A Blythe Espresso? I don't know what all these mean.
It's, you can get a blogger. It's a Blythe vlogger. They have a Blinnis.
A Blale.
Wait, you have like lemonades here?
I hate to cut the reunion short, but there's some pretty important things that need to be taken care of. The Heavenly Seven are still at it. They are trying to open, what was it, 8 more elemental gates throughout the world.
They did one in the fire plane. That was what the big explosion was.
Yeah.
What happens when they open the gates? Do we know?
I'm pretty sure they have found some way to take over the world.
We fought a bunch of fire giants, and they were talking about, conquering that continent. Also, there's a tournament coming up.
So you
A
remember?
tournament doesn't seem like the most important thing.
Yeah,
to
but
talk
you-
But
about.
they're going to it.
Do you guys remember the little girl that traveled with Griswold?
Mistress Evelyn.
Right.
Yeah.
She's the prize of that tournament.
And I would
Wait,
like to look up at Blythe also and say, Magnus is also there.
Your husband.
He would be my husband. You would know that.
Okay, so then we have to go to this tournament.
I think the Heavenly Seven are going to be there.
So, what's our plan?
We have to answer it, and we need a team of 8.
You got shot.
And right now, I count 5.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of my loyal subjects would be willing to help.
Okay.
Well-
just to hear me out. It is the best of the best, and they only pick 16.
Just, yeah.
Are you
Per plane.
saying that my people aren't the best?
Fellow catch. And I'm gonna throw a cup at fellow to see if he catches it.
You can tell the way he attempts to catch this motherfucker's nearsighted as shit as he just completely misses it and the cup just goes right past him.
Roll!
I got a 9.
The queen says no.
The cup goes right past him and just shatters against the wall. Oh wait. Everything is served in small wooden barrels.
I'm cool with that.
Nothing is glass. There's no glass in this city.
Right.
Yeah, no, I got it.
No jars.
No, Josh.
They are forbidden in my town.
So,
But
Blythe,
no, we need 3 more.
I think most of our people have been through a lot as well. I don't think sending them into a tournament is the best choice.
So hear me out.
In your most humblest opinion.
We have a tournament style.
I was just trying to make our team full.
I understand, and I
We have a
appreciate
tournament
you,
in the.
Well, the way
but how much time do we have to get into the tournament?
remember that it was whatchamacallit. It's every person from the material plane competes, and the top 16 make up the 2 teams. You guys don't go in with a team. It's just
Oh, so then we don't even need all the people. What are you talking about?
they just want a team of 8. Is what they're bringing to you, so that you guys would be one full team.
At least a team of 7. Like everyone at the table.
Oh, is that what that was?
No. So I mean, this is what we learned. I know the Heavenly Seven are going to be there, and if we can stop them at the impasse, then we don't even have to worry about the gates.
But how do we not know that they're not opening the gates in the meantime?
We
Can I
don't.
just throw this out there?
Yeah.
It's only been 2 years. We couldn't beat one of them then, and now you want to beat all of them?
Correct. I don't know if you've noticed, right? But I have a golem arm.
In short, yes.
Okay, but we've had 2 years to power up. They have had 2 years to also power up.
That's a valid statement.
They could also be opening another gate. Right now,
Would-
we're
but-
talking.
Would there be...
Wasn't Styx killed?
Styx was killed. So
They're not
probably-
invincible.
So they most likely
Well-
needed to figure out a city.
Shane, would there be other, like, guards of sorts from, like, other warriors from... that
You
would
would-
live here?
You would have some.
Potentially we could send a few over to the Heavenly Tree, or sorry, the World Tree on a reconnaissance mission to keep an eye out for us. We do have a few warriors here that could potentially...
And do we have a way
Do
to
that.
keep in contact with them? And how do we get there?
Well, we don't
But
want to
they
leave.
find-
You can commune
Lycopia
through the earth.
unprotected.
Oh,
Through your prayer.
my people can commune with each other.
Okay, so then how do we get there if there's a problem?
We don't want to send all of our warriors out. We need to protect Lycopia.
All right. Could a few be spared, or do you think that would be too dangerous?
I just don't want to send the best.
I mean, I'm not sure it would be really to protect it. It would just be informational if something did happen.
Okay, so then we don't need the best to go. We should send like the second best.
As Jello stands up and puts his hands on his 2 swords.
No,
You
just-
fellas, not you fellas.
Just
Sit
the
down.
stealthiest.
He stands back up.
No.
Sits back down.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna. He's tap fellow on the back.
He almost not falls out of the chair.
You're doing your best, fellow.
I want you to do better than your best. I want you to do okay.
Hey! You do not talk to my subjects in this manner.
I was giving him encouraging words.
Those were not encouraging.
I want him
That
to do
you
better
were
than his best. I want him to do fine.
downgrading him.
That's the equivalent of the best encouragement that Ketra's gotten over the past 2 years. I want you to do better than you're doing. Do me not trying.
So, here's the situation. Who knows what Evelyn's capable of? Because Evelyn was full of a lot more knowledge than she ever let on.
And if she's a prize, she probably has a lot more going on than me.
Did y'all know she's 400?
Didn't we discuss that? Wasn't that a thing? You don't know, you weren't there.
Turok, you okay?
I'm good.
Yeah, no.
That pepper went down wrong.
So what is she?
Not a little girl.
No, definitely not.
I think we can just figure that out without talking about her or looking at her. And... I don't know. How are we gonna know what she is? We're not even looking at her. It's been so long since I saw her. I don't even remember what she looked like.
I mean, I don't think that's like traveling. I think we need to figure out what's important. What do we know?
Nothing.
No,
Yeah, the Heavenly
false.
Seven wants to open elemental gates
They want
to bring in armies of.
But we know what the next gate might be, and it's not the Earth one.
Right.
We have to figure out how to keep the gates closed.
I thought it was the Earth one.
No, it was the negate one.
No, the
No.
negative was just the dangerous one.
He said he was told that he told you that the two gates, if you wanted to cause the most disarray within the material plane, would be the plane of fire or the negative gate. You don't know which ones they're aiming to open. You know that they're
But the Earth one was the most.
was the only one.
that Jaden remembered.
Jaden was that's the only one Jaden knew exactly where it was,
Got
and then
it,
the one in
got
Valoria.
Right. So we can go possibly to. I mean, the tournament's at the Cloud Steps.
Okay.
That's at the Valoria, right? That's around. Valoria.
Other way.
Other way.
Crimson Sands, Samakot.
Yeah.
Cloudstep Mountains, Continent of Pharos.
This is not a very good map.
So the
I
closest,
don't have the map with me. I made a map at one point in
The
time.
closest we're to is the World Tree of the Earths, right? And Samakot.
The bottom of the Cloud Steps is probably closer if you just head straight across the desert. Because the bottom of the Cloud Steps ends, and then the desert bleeds into the bottom of the Bloodmoors.
What does Jaden knowing about the Earth plane tell us really about them even going for it? Like, what, are we just wasting our time if we go there? We don't
What about
know.
my dog?
You would have a dog. He's not with you right now. He stays at home. He's a puppy.
Okay. Finish her dog. Let's discuss.
Got a dog?
Yeah. I got one of Jaden's dogs.
Oh.
I'm royalty. Shut up.
So you're able to get a dog, but you can say hi. Cool.
No. She would have stolen the puppy on her way out.
Puppy on the way
I would assume that it was the governor's puppy as the island was exploding.
Jesus, you're a monster.
You don't think that's a Blythe move?
I
it's
rescued
a
a puppy.
That's
But
how
no,
we're framing it.
but no people.
Oh, Mr. Governor, no. That's the issue, Dork. We don't know if they're going to the Earth. I would assume at some point.
Who's not to say that they're trying to open the gates to have them enter the tournament?
I'm Congo. I mean, that's what the Fire Giants were talking about. They were going to the tournament.
Because it's how many people from each plane?
But if you're sending your most
16.
8.
you're sending
The
your
material
most,
plane's the only one that gets 2 teams.
you're sending your most powerful. It's not like we can't get from the Earth plane to here. It's just that you need the most powerful mages to do so.
Okay.
Opening those gates is just going to release the energy into here. I'm not sure that has anything to do with the tournament at all.
So it just releases the energy. So is it bad to open the gates? Maybe we should let them
Yes.
open the gates.
No,
Well,
Your Excellency.
What?
I said no, Your Excellency.
You're not making it sound like it's a bad thing.
Torok, you would know this being from the elemental planes. The elemental planes are overflowing with this energy. It means that the planes are constantly expanding. So they do have a near finite edge where they run into the other planes, but they're still growing and shifting and moving, and that energy is occasionally released in different things. That's what also creates a lot of life there. So earth elementals are formed from the residual of this energy that continues to grow and seep. By opening gates from one to the other and letting that energy freely flow, it can actually cause the plane to collapse into that plane. That's what creates the mid planes, so like the plane of like steam and stuff like that.
I'll explain that and let everyone know.
So
Okay.
basically, they want to then turn the material plane into
Total chaos.
right.
If I was going to lay my answer down, I think that we need to just head to the tournament and see what this Heavenly Seven group is up to. I mean, if they're there, we know they're at least in our eyesight. If they're not, we can make some different plans from there as to where we need to go.
I mean, we can go as 5.
Just go as 5.
If there's this many of us still running around after the explosion, I imagine the others are still around somewhere.
How long will we take though?
Until
Can't
we
exactly put up a message going, hey.
Well, until we can.
Scry? I don't think so.
I thought you took that as a spell or an item.
No, it was an option that I chose not to do. Hold on.
No, didn't you take that?
We had the
The orb.
No, we didn't take that.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I didn't want it. Because it was discussed that I could have used it to spy and capture it.
it was attunement.
That's what it was.
That's what was it. No.
It was
that
attunement, so it was noped away.
Nope.
So as you guys are planning,
I can probably learn scrying once I get a scroll for it.
you also have to get high enough level to cast it. It's a
Fourth?
4th or 5th level spell.
I can cast 4th.
As you guys are reminiscing, you hear several people outside of the tavern begin talking about a newcomer on the docks. Someone was dropped off by a small ship.
Whoa. He's in check.
You don't know, you just hear people talking about somebody's walking across the docks.
Who else do we know has a ship? Unless it's Sandile, which will, in trouble.
I think at this point I'm okay with saying
I've
that.
been meaning to catch up with him. He's a nice fella.
Yeah, I mean,
Real handsome.
I think he got possessed though, right?
I just don't assume Jacob would be dropped
Probably
off
for another
anywhere.
day.
I feel like Jacob would
Unless
be
it's today.
thrown off somewhere.
Well, I've got my arm. Sorry.
How long is it going to take for you to learn how to use that
I don't
thing?
know. It's been a day.
You better look into that, buddy.
What was that?
You better look into that, friend. I want to make sure I'm always on his right side.
You go to take a sip with it. Just break a cup across your face.
All right.
Um,
I'm gonna get up and start heading towards the docks.
Why do... What is it about today?
We need to go to the docks just because someone's coming into the town.
Yeah,
I want to make sure it's someone's safe.
I don't treat everybody that comes into town.
Alright, I mean, you gotta give him the 4.
Torok does.
It's what I do.
You're learning very quickly the relationship here. That Torok just does as much as he can so Blythe can focus on whatever Blythe decides to focus on for the day.
So it took you 2 years to replace me, eh?
No, it took me about 3 months.
Oh!
I'm the for one.
As Torok gets up and walks away.
When we're on the tour, I saw all the citrus stuff, right?
Yeah, it's the outside of the cities. The outer bank of the city where the wall was on the outer side is now all groves and fields and flowers and stuff.
Is that where they make all the AIDS from?
Yeah. Where they grow their AIDS.
Staying forest community.
Manufacturing AIDS?
That's where the AIDS comes from.
So my
They're gonna
friends won't leave me.
Yep.
No, it's regular AIDS. Okay,
Yep.
I would like to go out on the dock with Torok. Great value. mate.
I'm gonna look over and be like, I think we might intimidate whoever's coming in.
I don't understand why everybody's going.
I'm gonna follow.
It's 10 gets up.
By the way, I still have all my other random.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, your other stuff.
It's definitely bleached.
Yeah, it's all bleached. It's all waterlogged. All the skulls are bleached white.
Yeah.
Anything organic on you has been picked clean. It's just all bone at this point.
It would be. Goddamn squids, big boy crew.
So the 3 giants get up on the table.
Yeah.
The 3 giants get up from the table and walk outside. Solomon, you're just sitting at the table alone with Blythe now.
Yeah.
Where it's safe.
I don't. I just don't understand. No, I agree. I don't understand why everybody needs to be greeted.
So I'm thinking
They
about
don't.
3
That's
C's
not a
'cause
thing
it's
that
3 of us.
happens.
Thick boy.
I think this Sarm here is out of brains a little bit.
No, What's the 2 years of being alone?
Were you in the?
Did I hear that
Were you
part?
in the abyss alone fighting squid? 24/8.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Does Ted have PTSD? He's like a Vietnam vet of the ocean.
Just stare out.
I hear a
1,000 yards
seagull
there.
call and just.
Fortunate Son plays in the background.
We're just kids, man. What is it? You're 17 now?
I'm exact 17 now.
Oh no, we're gonna have to deal with more mood swings.
It's not a phase.
Heading out, you guys head to the large mangrove kind of barrier that kind of keeps these boats from making land. They all have to go through this dock, and you see a figure standing on the docks, a small bag at his side as he kind of picks it up and props it next to him.
Hail,
Aaron?
I am Torok. What business have you here?
Of the thick boys.
Of the cliffs.
Aaron, would you like to introduce your character?
Oh, I'm sorry. Hello,
Took forever
everybody.
to get to you.
That is the
not your
weakest
fault.
entrance I might have ever seen in my life. I'm gonna need you to up that
everybody.
energy level, son.
I know.
you get a
Character God.
I need you like.
hail, I'm Torok of the cliffs, and you get a I'm sorry.
Excuse me?
Hi, Torque off the cliff.
Oh, don't make eye contact with me, bud.
Hi, Torque off the cliffs. My name's Tyr. Where are you from?
The cliffs.
I hate you. I hate you.
What business have you here?
I was just wandering around, and I stumbled upon this place.
You have entered Blythtopia.
Yeah.
Like,
You two leaned against each
Before
other behind him.
entering,
Hell yeah, it's been 2 years.
we're really pleased to greet you and welcome here, but before you enter, I must search your bag.
Yeah,
Okay.
search his bag.
Do you have any jars that you are bringing into the city?
jars?
Indeed.
Yeah. Give him up.
Yeah.
Give him up.
I'm gonna take the bag, open it, and look for
Smash it.
jars.
Do you have any jars?
I'm country
Preserved foods, that type of stuff? Yeah.
Unfortunately, jars are not welcome in Blythtopia.
I can't. I mean, I guess if you guys have food
Smash
here,
it.
it's okay.
You would know what happens to them. They cannot be allowed to exist.
Smash it.
Oh,
I hope you don't like pickles too much.
Do you have somewhere else to store this item inside here?
In the dirt.
no.
As soon as he says no, Torok just drops it.
Just-
We're so hard to get those ingredients.
You have like some long-term preserved foods, alchemic ingredients that you've been keeping stored for potion making and stuff. And Sorok just starts taking them out of your bag and just dropping them on the dock as they just shatter and fall into the water.
That's what I was waiting for.
Do I see? Do I see beans?
Cabbages.
No.
He's just thinking about them beef.
I'm sure
Listen,
glad I
that's
have
what
a place
happens.
to rest.
This-
I've been walking for some time.
This is how we do in Black
On the
Tokyo.
water?
You can't come in here with them damn jars.
Traveling for some time.
What's up?
Okay, no.
I forgot to switch the names because Jackson moved seats.
Oh.
Because remember we discussed you're not allowed to sit over there
Where?
Because you're a leaner.
because you're a leaner and you go out of the camera, so I put you in the
I
middle.
never fucking agreed
So
to that.
it's
You didn't have to agree.
Switch chairs.
Nah, it's fine.
Go sit
I'll
on
just-
his lap.
I'll just switch them back next time.
I only sat here the other day because we only had 3 people.
My goal was to keep you there because you like to lean and walk out of the camera shot.
Fucking said that.
Yeah, well.
Anyway.
Oh my god.
All right, dear. We'd like to welcome you to Blythtopia. If you'd follow me, I can show you.
You would recognize that name immediately.
I think he's shedding some tears.
Tyr is a god.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I am well aware. So do you worship? I have a question. That's a very interesting name of Kitcher Rushmarsh, by the way.
I'm country Ted of the Abyss.
Of the Rustmarsh, he's Ted of the Abyss.
Country Ted of the Abyss.
I'm sorry, country Ted of
This
the Abyss.
is a robot.
We don't know. That's their word. You can't
You see Ted has a drink that he's just pouring on his face and he just immediately puts it down.
It's it. Where did this end table come from? Be cool, man. Be cool.
I'll have you know.
All right.
You safe from the goddamn squid threat for 2 years, you son bitch.
All right.
sorry.
Language. He's like a jukebox. Just put the coin in. Just let him go.
2 years. I'm on the front lines.
So we don't use that word.
Protecting you people.
No. Just call him Ted.
Hi, Ted.
We're gonna have to work at this. So, Tia.
Yeah.
Do you have a last name, Tia? A creed, if you will? A
Um,
surname?
Well, I kind of do, but it's a long story. I kind of got rid of my old name and picked up a new one to kind of represent who I am now.
Oh, so you're a god now.
Hey, what's he look like again?
What do you look like, buddy?
So I'm a. Let me show you guys.
What's your race?
State your business. Where's the rest of you?
Where's the rest of you?
I'm a little tiefling.
He's a little tiefling boy.
He's a halfling tiefling? He's
No.
a boy?
He is a boy.
A little tiefling with little horns.
Short and
I've got black
That's a
hair.
very dark picture.
Define little.
Turn that brightness up.
That's a super dead phone, is
Can't see
why.
any of that.
How old are you?
Define little.
All right.
What's your age?
My character sheet says 30.
It says 30?
Yeah.
You 30?
What do you say?
You're an adult man?
I would.
That's less cute.
Yeah.
How tall is this?
We'll go with 20 then.
20 works. 20 is a good choice
I
for
was
you.
gonna say, you stopped growing, huh?
This
creepy.
little.
I don't know.
You stopped-
It automatically had that in when I pulled up the D&D Beyond, and I was like, sure, fuck it, I'll leave it.
Very youthful 30-year-olds.
How tall?
Excuse me.
How tall are you?
Short, I'm 5'7".
That's average.
No, that's a man.
Yeah, no, that's super short.
I mean, in the general company,
Some of
that's
us could
super
only
short.
dream of being 5'7". No, I'm 5.
The average is
30 and 5'7".
in the company in game 5'7" is short. In the company at the table 5'7" is also.
It's people.
So it looks like a little devil.
I can't
Yes.
hear that in my 6'2".
I fucking hate you guys.
Okay, so
As he mocks-
ear of the nowhere.
Medicating now, like, this
So-
is funny.
So you're like a fan of the god tier?
You don't know there's a god named Tyr.
And his name is Vital.
We've been over this.
What about your godmoms?
I don't know
Thank
if
you,
any
Clive.
gods.
Oh, no, you're standing next to me now.
I don't know about gods or anything like that, but I do know a paladin.
Please, let us walk, and you can tell us about this pattern.
It ain't Griswold, it is he's dead.
It's Griswold.
He's like super dead.
Alright, calm down.
He's dead.
Dude, I learned some things about Griswold. Let's just leave it
Why
at
are you
that.
killing off all your old characters?
So I can make new ones.
It's like it's about time.
And yeah,
What
I don't
you
want him
learn
coming
about
back.
Griswold?
I learned.
Did he have love children?
Yeah.
I picked him for a time.
I'm not one of them, though.
I didn't think you were.
No, he's my uncle, though. And I've never had an uncle before.
Go on.
His brother and my father. His brother was my father.
Alright. Griswold's dead.
So, Tyr,
Uncle
I'm
Griswold
sorry for your loss.
Uncle Griswold was dead.
is daddy.
Uncle.
Tyr, do you have any specific business here?
I was just wandering around. I mean, I have my personal reasons for traveling and all, but it just seemed like a really nice place to stop and eat and rest.
Do you hail from the fire plane?
There's more than one plane.
He is red. Red is fire. Fire is red.
There's lots of
You,
ones there too.
I don't know what planes are. I know there's grass.
you're an innately intelligent person, but you have no formal education at all. Like it is just there is nothing there.
Street smart.
Yeah,
And
that's the basis around this guy.
yeah, there is no formal education there. So like gods, nah.
Reading
Planes of
other
existence,
planes, other dimensions.
Well, let me tell you about our Lord and Savior Ubatal.
I hope you have time for the 4-hour tour, because he's going to be talking through the whole thing.
Oh,
Turn off the tour!
nice to have a tour
To the
of the
tour.
city, I guess.
I know.
You would know, no, you don't know who Ubatawa is, but you know the tour of the city.
okay.
You would just repeat everything Blythe says.
You know, this will give me a chance to update my notes. And
You would like the tour.
Yeah, I'll go with
All right, Torov will give the tour, but the tour takes significantly less time
It's
and is
20
much
seconds.
more abrupt and very like, this is a plant. Its name is Bob. This one here, his name's Carol.
Hello, Bob and Carol.
This one here is, this is the cat. This is the.
your,
Instead of a whole spiel on the introduction of everything, it's just like this is this. That's that.
I'm gonna
There's that, and we're done.
They're gone for like an hour and a half.
What do you think they're doing?
How big is this?
Yeah,
Mostly got
Nubatal.
lost.
It's pretty decent sized.
Yeah.
It's not huge, but it's
Life utopia can be very
Samacon.
confusing.
So it's like 3 streets long.
I forgot a lot.
no, it's a few hundred yards across.
Made it that way though?
Not on purpose. but I should have had different street names because Blythe Lane and Blythe Road and Blythe Way kind of really.
Oh, fudge, we're stuck on Blythe
Didn't we already go through Blythe Road?
The outer.
You're on Blythe Boulevard. Pay attention. It's not hard.
You're about Blythe Avenue.
So, why
The
We
biggest.
don't go to Martin Luther Blythe. That's the bad part.
MLB Boulevard.
MLB Boulevard.
The worst part is there's a circle that goes around the whole town called Blythe Circle, and then the next immediate street is Blythe Loop. It's a nightmare.
So what's going on with you guys' direction?
Oh, we're in hell.
No. You're in the phases. That's all this is.
If we see a cart with no wheels on it on blocks, we know we're in MLB.
As soon as he says we're in hell, Torok looks over and goes, "No, we're in Blythtopia." You seem to be confused.
Nope, I'm definitely where I think I am.
814 North Blythe-Tucky Avenue.
Oh my god. 610 Blythe Vista.
Oh my god.
So, you two sit in the bar and wait.
That's fine.
About an hour and a half later, the group comes walking in with a new tag along.
We all have churros.
Who is this? And where did you get churros?
We got it on Blythe Loop. From the churro vendor.
There's a churro vendor on Blythe Loop.
Churros, man.
I made to make notes about what happens in Blythtopia. Just smears in.
Why did nobody bring us churros?
You didn't come over here.
Oh, okay, it's my fault.
I must have lit them like
Yeah, no, you're just
He has a churro with like a hat.
Who are you?
It's like a little
I have a little
in my first
sombrero
time
with my
in
little
life.
voice,
It's like Tokyo.
He's
got a churro coming
He's gonna check in from a splash zone as a ride at some point in time.
This is Tire, Deer, something.
No, this is Tia, and he is not good on the flume ride.
This is Red Man.
Did you meet a god?
No, he's not the god. He's just a guy.
Oh, thank God. I didn't want to get smited today.
I mean, I can smite.
This is Redmond.
Don't. How about that?
Good lord.
He's not a paladin.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're good.
Oh, good.
Progression.
Hello.
So,
And I'm Kyle. Kyle,
Who are you? What are you? Why are you here? Why do you have horns?
See, that's Soto Man. I told you about him.
Oh, this is the
I feel like you can't
This
just
is the guy
ask
without the
people if they have
No.
horns.
Each night on the leg.
Why they have horns.
On the what?
What?
What's up, man?
I mean, hi.
Did I hear something about legs?
No, we're talking about crab legs. Like, I thought we were gonna get crab legs tonight and crack them open. No, I said crack.
I've killed at least 500 crabs.
I believe that. For what?
No, because they wouldn't stop pinching me.
Are you this
They're marking my armor. All that
Well,
stuff that
where
the
this
dumb one,
is?
that-
This
that-
goof
that
troop?
tune.
Yes.
Hello, Tier. I'm Blythe. You may bow now.
Hi, Blythe. Oh, I'm assuming you're the queen. I'm gonna bow.
Yeah,
Very
no way.
respectfully.
Thank
I'm
you.
assuming you're the
How
queen. I see your name all over. It's a pleasure to be in your
That's
presence.
Blythe.
Yes,
She cool.
I am the coolest.
She didn't always used to be that tall.
No, she was like.
She's got like a growth spurt.
She has always been this tall.
Oh, she's
Says you. Will you please tell the man you weren't always this tall?
That was a hard pee.
he's never
You don't
seen
know
her
what's
small.
in her heart.
Take the bracelet off.
Well, no, because I get small when I go to my house.
There's probably blood.
I'm assuming Torok doesn't go in your house. It's a small house.
It's the same size as everybody else's house.
Torok knows how tall she is.
Torok can't go into regular people's houses.
Torok knows how tall she is inside.
Well, I mean,
Is this like when Solomon gave the speech about what you're supposed to do with your finances?
No.
Or not Solomon, Keth?
Kath. It was all a
You're
metaphor for investing in yourself.
Children.
What is happening?
No, I assume Torok can't go in any of the houses because they're small wooden structures elevated.
Oh, I just assumed
He would fall through
I
them.
assumed they were regular, like, little houses.
In all the tours at this point, has the dragon arrived?
Not yet.
Okay.
We're getting there. Don't worry. So you guys are now seated at the table.
So now we have adopted a new person thing.
Hey, you, Redmond.
Tiefling.
Unless I find something to do, I guess I'm kind of just passing.
Redmond.
I mean, this is a nice.
He doesn't know his name.
This is a nice board. Hang out here for a little bit.
Red Man.
Yes.
So you said you had personal reasons. I expect you to share that forthwith.
Maybe after a couple of drinks or so. But
All right.
Could I?
can do
Could I roll an insight to
I
see
say
if this
we have a
is
celebration
suspicious?
if we get to know each other.
Roll insight check.
I would like to call another beer.
I fully trust everything that is going on today. I got a 4.
He seems
good,
honest and forthwith.
Ooh, I lied. I got a 5. Honest and forthright.
You're a good man.
He seems like he's honest.
Fellow starts running drinks back and forth to the table, bringing more food.
Poor fellow. Wasn't he just a citizen and now he's taking care of
He was
Like part of the guard, and now he's
he was deputized by the guard at some point in time.
Fellow.
I.e., one of the other guards said one day you can become a guard. He's a kid. He's young. He's only like 13 or 14 years old.
Fellow.
Oh no, yes.
He comes back up to the table. He goes, "Yeah." Gets close.
I'll take your finest seaweed.
I don't know if we use those typically.
Thank you.
I'm on it as he runs out the door.
Why do you want seaweed?
Alright, when you're in the darkness for as long as I was, you learn to survive.
You don't eat.
What?
You're making your spells?
By the finest seaweeds.
Those your spells?
No, those are old.
Please,
God help you, it's not green enough.
please explain
A medic.
how the seaweed helped you survive.
Why don't you tell us your story there, Ted? Well, I guess you guys are all somehow
Heard the story.
working for each
Squid.
other.
It's a really long story.
Squids. Squids never changes. There I was in the darkness, surrounded. 10, 15 of them. Sucking all over me
Squids?
and whatnot.
Is he a Triton?
No.
Do I
Does he
look
There
like
are
Resident
no
Evil?
more
A
Tritons.
Triton?
Blythtopia has rid the countryside of them.
There is a great cleansing.
Killed me a couple Tritons.
Oh.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You care, Ariel?
It's dark.
All blue. Like,
when you're in a one-man war, you don't know what to do.
All sides.
Wow, so it sounds like you've had a
The
pretty
tree
good
at Trong.
Yeah.
Well, good job
Call
on
me
coming back.
PTS dead, Ted. PTS Ted.
Jesus Christ.
PTS Ted.
Post-traumatic stress terminate every dwarf.
I hate
Total
you.
eradication of dwarfs.
Yeah, are you still obsessed with dwarves?
You don't know that.
Who are you?
Oh no, I'm out.
Oh, also,
Ted, where'd you get a cigarette from?
after Blythe blew everything off of Ted, he does have a very pronounced beard.
Ted?
Yeah.
Ted, we
Ted
needed to
has
ask
a
you about
pronounced
this.
beard.
It's a big beard too. It's solid.
Kind of
Oh,
sensitive right now.
I found me a pirate ship and some stuff, and I have this beard.
That
I don't feel like that explains
doesn't
anything.
What color is the beard?
explain. What's
This is
it?
Justin asking.
Distinguished.
That's not a color.
Well, Ted's like what, browns?
I'm sorry, I didn't have a
I
mirror
feel
at
like
the bottom of the
that's not a
ocean.
color.
No, Ted's like because he's like wooden for predominantly.
Can it be green?
So it'd either be green, like
Oh my God.
leafy,
Can it be leaves?
like grass.
Moss.
It's like grass and moss and like weeds and stuff like that that grow out of his face.
It's for the
Yeah,
ends.
that makes sense.
It's like an ant beard.
I was talking about like hair beard.
You have a
Well-
nice beard.
Thank you.
I also had a beard.
What?
I
That's
was
where,
going to shave it off.
That's where Phil liked to stay. Beard.
Phil lived in your beard?
What's up?
Which
Oh,
one?
You're shaking.
Phil 3, 4, whatever one it was.
So you all catch up, meet your new friend,
Who says we're friends?
meet your new acquaintance.
Who says I'm good?
Dear, as I find you a place to sleep, would you prefer to sleep in a room or below ground?
Either one is fine. I mean, I've slept on the dirt before, but I prefer a bed.
Not on the dirt,
Blythtopia-
under the dirt.
In Blythtopia,
Oh.
we, what's the word I'm looking for?
I like how hospitable you are. You're
You gotta stand up sometimes.
considerate.
You should be good.
What's
I
the
try
word?
my best.
What's
No,
the word
it's
I'm
great.
looking for?
It's the left cheek.
We're very accommodating to all types of people. So we have
Oh.
in our hotel, what would it be?
An inn.
And in our inn,
Not brothel.
we have
And our Blythe tell.
yes, in our Blythe
The
Tell,
Blinton.
we have
It's a black
above
and bean.
ground room and below ground.
Get this trying to
Oh,
run.
I will take an
Respectable
above ground room.
Life and breakfast.
A brothel.
I will
No.
make sure that the accommodations are drawn
There's
up.
no waffle here.
That's just because Keth hasn't moved in.
There needs to be life-themed brothel.
Fellow, could you have accommodations drawn up for our new friend?
He looks as he's walking up now with an assortment of seaweeds, and he goes.
Above ground accommodations, please.
Right here, my good man.
He puts it on the table as he runs out the
Do
door.
you like the... Oh, hold on, fellow.
He stops.
Do you like the room extremely hot, warm, or cold?
Oh, warm is good.
A nice 110 degrees would be good.
I'll get the fires going immediately as he runs out the door.
Oh.
You thought I would take before, dude. Rod,
Yes.
is there like a kitchen room?
Well, if you want to stay here, you can stay here, or if you would like to stay in my house, I have my own house.
I would very much like to stay with you.
I would have.
Yeah, it's a full-size house. It's just you're Blythe, so it's a mansion.
Is there room for me?
Well, yes. No.
Is there room for me to watch y'all?
I already answered your question before you asked.
That's cool.
You can stay in the inn.
He just hang out on the porch and just look in the window.
Just watch it.
Just as it should be.
What are you guys doing in there? It's all dark. You sleeping? I'll stop talking. You must be
I would very
sleeping.
much like to see your home, God.
Okay, so I'll bring everybody to my house.
Oh,
So-
actually, I guess I should.
Well, not him, because I assume he's gonna go to his hotel.
Yeah.
He's been going
So who's coming in?
Yeah, boy.
Are you gonna come with us to my house?
Are you inviting me?
Yes, I'm inviting everybody except for the new person.
That's proof.
It's already been drawn up high.
I will assist here in showing him how to cool his room down.
So we'll go to you two first. So you walk into this room, and there is this massive raging fire in the corner with like a small trough of lava that runs in the corner of the room. And as you walk in there, it's like getting hit in the face by the sun. It's just hot. Like super uncomfortable hot.
Toron kind of rubs his arm. Oh, it's a little chilly.
Rafty, how do you live like this?
What is Torah?
An Earth Ganassi giant. Ganassi giant. He's 8.5 feet tall. He has like almost lava running underneath, like cracks in his skin.
Oh, that's why he's. So
There's I mean you would see in this town there's tons of like earth elementals and a few fire Genasian elementals running around.
Oh, so warm to you guys is living in a volcano. It's relative.
I guess. Yes, that is correct.
Where did you acquire a ring pop?
I'm in the middle of the table.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not live
Sean
in
brought that the
a
other
volcano. Maybe like a nice
No, it was from Justin's
Oh.
summer day.
Alright, I understand. Hold on one second. I'm gonna go to the bed and I'm gonna pull, like rip the cover off and then delicately fold it. And put the blankets over my arm. Follow me this way.
He looks like the most intimidating butler in the world right now.
Okay.
You-
And I'll lead him to a cold room.
Gradually walk behind him.
Does he look like the guy from Thor Ragnarok?
I can
He's not that He's not that rocky.
Oh.
He's got parts like on his neck that are, but for the most part, he's human in appearance. He's a mixture of a fire giant and a whatchamacallit, an earth
I
elemental.
have a sudden vision of him speaking in South African accent.
New Zealand.
I'm pretty sure that's South African. I don't know. I don't believe it.
Well, anyways.
I have a picture, I'll get to it.
So as you get him situated in a room, the other four of you approach. It's a very nice house, but it's like a
It's
2-bedroom.
the same as everybody else's house.
Is it really?
Yes.
So I shouldn't be calling.
I'm asking you. Is it really?
Yes.
Rocks coming out of his head like gemstones.
Blythe is one of the people.
It's the same size as everybody else's house. It's a little bit nicer outside, like plants growing on the porch and stuff like that.
He has natural intimidation.
But as you open the door,
I'd
there's
like to take off my
all the furniture in the house is Blythe-sized. As she takes off the bracelet and shoosh, back to her size.
Where's Torah?
Accommodating a guest.
But she goes out to Blight size, and all the furniture in there is Blight size, except for one chair that you can see is put at a table that's Blight sized with her chairs around it that a guest would sit at if she needs to meet somebody.
Yes, Queen.
Yes.
I always.
I feel like you saw this coming.
Saw what coming?
You know, the discrepancy.
I just wanted you to see my house.
Oh.
Well, yeah, I said you could stay.
Oh,
It's a little house. It's a normal size like everybody else's house. What do you expect?
I'm gonna dream craft her a flower. Here is a housewarming present.
Well, thank you.
It's like a tree to you.
It's a what?
It's like a tree. No, it's about the same size as you. It's like a big log.
Flower.
I would assume I have like some type
Here's
of vase.
Yeah.
A tree.
I'll use my telekinesis ring.
Drew crafts a tree. That's absurd.
She's this tall.
6
A
inches.
flower is like.
Yeah. 6 inches.
6 inches.
Here's a
I
sunflower.
used an app.
Here's a sunflower. Take it.
So
I'm 10 inches. I used the app.
Don't question the app.
Call back. Call back. It's just a callback.
Anyway, I gave you a flower as a housewarming present. He tried to cheapen it.
I wasn't trying to cheapen it. It was just big. She's little. She's got to hold it up with 2 hands.
no, I don't. I use
Phrasing.
my telekinesis
Oh, yeah.
ring
Jesus
and I
Christ,
stack it in a
phrasing.
vase.
Oh wow.
Drink the
Okay.
phrasing.
She uses a ring of telekinesis to move it across and put it in a little vase.
This is my house.
Very nice.
It's the same as everybody else's house because I'm a queen of the people.
You've said that.
I see that.
I want to really like driving home, so you know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I know. And no is half the battle.
You're being rude.
No, I'm not.
I invite you to stay in my home,
I'm very grateful for that.
in my spare bedroom, which I assume one of the bedrooms is set up for a normal sized person.
It is. You do have a room that is set up for people.
Thank you.
A
just
diplomat's
gonna-
room.
It is.
I'm gonna put the.
It's for embassy meetings.
Oh. I'll be
A
back
Triton
with
stayed in there once. She murdered him.
In his sleep.
Tritons were not welcomed in my place. They tried to.
Starve out your people before?
They were starving out my people.
this. Jackson Wood.
So to starve them out, we fished out even further, and then they died.
Is she
from
explaining this to you while I'm putting my stuff away?
Yeah, it's just Flavin you talking right now.
Yeah,
It's head.
Well, I mean, I'm
So-
standing there.
So when was the last time you saw Ariel?
I don't know.
Who?
If he went home, then he's no longer.
Alright.
Oh.
So we're not getting the band back together is what you're telling
What's
me.
that? So we're getting the band back.
No, not
You're all
more.
my best friends and no one ever lied to me about a death.
I thought when I got closer, there was way less fish to the shore. I noticed a lot
No,
less
no.
fish.
There was more fish near the shore than there used to be because there's no more tritons overfishing.
They overfished
Gonna be a Triton.
past the Tritons
They've already recovered
and starved them out until they didn't have a people left, and then they let the fish recuperate, started fishing the bays and the shallows.
Once the squid stopped following me for a while, I was able to ascertain my surroundings.
How did you piss off the? This is me. How did you piss off the squid so much?
I think I'm gonna make a Squid King. Is gonna be a canon character that's at war with Anthony.
No mouth.
Can it be like the?
Confirmed.
What?
Can it? Oh no, never mind. It's a
BEG.
jellyfish.
What?
SpongeBob.
Hmm.
Squidward is a word.
No,
Squid
you know, like the jellyfish. He goes jellyfishing, and then he goes, the giant one. He's like, "Arr!" And then you said Nickelodeon before.
Yeah, but that's like post. I'm 32. Jesus.
Old fart.
SpongeBob's on like its what 20th year?
Yeah, I was, Rugrats. You talking
Yeah.
about Rugrats? We can have a
31?
conversation.
31.
Yeah, that's right.
31.
Yeah, but Michael's. He's not 31 yet.
Michael's 31. Michael turns 32 this year. Michael's older than me.
I will say, age is hitting me hard because the other day I told people I was 30 and I fully believed it and realized 24 hours later that I had lied to people and I was not 30.
You can tell that age is hitting him really hard because Michael keeps on adding like hipster piercings.
Oh, wow.
Stop hating!
Wow.
His nose.
That got super personal.
I can't even see that from here.
It's gonna be a ring soon.
If you got an industrial, okay, we can talk about hipster. It's fine. I like industrials. I got nothing against industrials. If I could get one, I would.
Why don't you get one?
Because he can't.
Because he's a hetero.
Because our job doesn't allow us to have those type of piercings, and Jackson can't grow enough hair to cover it.
Technically, I don't think I'm supposed to have this piercing.
Because boomers run our industry.
That's true.
What's an industrial?
The ear, like Becca has.
Anyway.
All right.
Okay.
So you guys get situated for the night. I'll let y'all drink for the sake of brevity.
Well, I wanted to do something.
We will get to.
Why did you wait till I smashed my 6-pack for you to fucking say a drinking word?
We will get to you guys in your rooms, so you guys can have more intimate and private conversations.
So I'm assuming that I
You're on the porch.
snuck into.
I assume you're just sitting on the porch talking to the townsfolk, because the towns, as night
Within my
comes,
porch.
there's
But I'm gonna break it.
mm,
I'm like 500 pounds. And I,
it's all wrapped in vines and stuff like that. It's Blythe built.
Utopia
It's
is
gonna
very
compensate.
sufficient.
You can get a good 6 seconds out of it.
6 seconds of joy.
But
Get it,
as Ted, as you're kind of sitting on the porch, as the sun begins to set, you can see all these bioluminescent plants begin to kind of open up and bloom, lighting the city.
That's fine.
These large flowers open up, casting pinks and purple lights that kind of dance across the ground. Small flowers bloom along the pathway, lighting walkways and stuff. It's very well lit and
Oh,
What is it?
lit, as in like bright.
bro.
Word.
Yeah, lit. It's
I'm still out of coffee!
All right.
I am too.
So I'm
Since
assuming,
I'm on the porch,
I'm assuming I had to go to the
not
inn.
how much.
I'm sitting there,
Yes, you'd be in the inn.
swinging a little bit, just
I'm
swinging.
gonna catch up
Is
with this guy.
Blythe's house like at the center of town?
Yeah, it'd be the dead
So
center.
you would also see that the elementals all gather for their nightly
Yeah, they're in prayer.
ritual.
I don't care about that.
You see
I'm
it.
swinging.
You see a whole bunch of elementals gather around and start praying on the ground together as like this large meld.
They're doing what?
Praying together.
Better be the Uber towel.
In the
I
ground?
keep swinging.
They gather in a circle and pray,
It's more like singing and
chanting.
chanting.
Around
and,
my house?
No, around the water, before in the center.
How hot?
During my 2 years in the abyss, was I able to pray to Uber towel?
Not. You were in constant motion. You were at war with the squids.
I was at war with.
You're 2 years into constant movement. This is the first time you've gotten to sit
Now
down.
I'm sitting there, you know, man, see, looking around. I want to try to pray to the Almighty Uber towel.
Can you give me a prayer, buddy?
Oh.
Can we?
Is Ubertal Allah?
No, it's Uber towel.
It was Lion King.
Symbol.
Shit, what's a 12 plus what?
Religion.
Religion.
I have been gone from this table for
Put the wrong
long.
Uncomfortable. 13. You pray and you
Come on, man.
you feel the prayers go someplace, but you don't get any response. Torok, as you
Have I not given enough? Almighty Uber.
as you're heading to meet with the prayers, you see Ted screaming on the porch of Blythe's house.
We were just kids, man. What more do you want? The squids that I killed. The children.
Ted, are you okay?
I have on my hands.
I love the ink.
Ted, are you okay?
I'm alright, Rock. I'll be alright.
If you would like to join us, we'll be.
You praying to Uber towel?
We do not.
Then no.
Understood.
I'd rather not go to hell.
The 9 house. Let's get it right.
Yeah,
at least.
that. The 9 hells. Yeah.
For sin, for blasphemy.
You can just walk away from it. It's okay. that's how I would handle it.
Did you find Ubertal?
Uber towel speed, Rockman. Uber towel speed.
Understood.
As you left, though, you fucking sinner.
So,
Actually, as he's walking back, it's kind of non-denominational if you want to come. All right, we'll see you later.
Sinner, get off the pot.
as you meet up with your group to pray, you hear breaking of branches, this loud crashing sound as pieces of
Yeah, we're all dying.
foliage and canopy begin crashing down into the city center as this massive looming figure comes piercing through and kind of lands into the city center and kind of walks up and kind of curls around the large fountain in the middle where water is constantly cascading.
Welcome back, friend.
He kind of just immediately goes back to sleep, kind of circling around this thing, looking like a statue kind of grabbed into it.
Begin our chanting fun.
So you in prayer. What are you two doing? You're each in your own rooms.
I would also take some time to pray.
Okay. Got a whole lot of
Again,
faces.
it's non-denominational if you'd like to come out and chant with us.
Ew, no.
What kind of chanting is it? As I
Do I hear that from my room?
It's new wave.
No.
Christian
So
rock.
I'm kind of like propped up in my window, and I hear you say that. I'm like, what kind of chanting is it?
Fun sing-song ones.
We have a band now.
It would be very like.
It's new wave Christian.
I mean, they're singing in primordial, but you can tell they're like singing these songs, and as they do, like rocks begin floating around them. You can see that everyone's like
Fucking
sitting on the
nightmarish.
ground. It's very like.
Maybe next time.
Do I hear this shit?
It's like fucking nightmare.
Sounds like fucking speaking in tongues.
I fought for this. This ain't it.
The soothing sounds of my people.
It's a 23 on really.
I always imagined it sounds super pretty. Apparently not.
It's primordial. It's the equivalent of stones sliding together is how you speak.
A lot of screaming.
But I understand fire elementals. What do they sound like? Crackling.
Crackling fire.
Interesting.
Elementals speak via the sound of their elements. So like waters, it's like waves and crashing. Air is like gales and breeze.
So it literally just sounds like an earthquake and lava flowing.
Yes.
Yeah, Rip Gale.
Gale,
It's literally
Rip Tear, soon to be.
it's a nightmare sound.
Understood.
It's not peaceful.
Oh,
You're just all gathered in a group of like 50 or 60 people just going it sounds like a fucking earthquake outside.
God.
Like if the ground started shaking, it's an earthquake. Like just that's what it is.
You forsaken me.
So Solomon, you sit, focus in and pray. As the world kind of falls away from you, it all kind of blackens, it rebuilds, light kind of fills the area as you're standing in the church of in Valoria,
Right.
the church of Stirkenvoss, as your master, the high priest that had trained you, is kind of pacing, and he kind of looks at you and he goes, "What's down, Solomon?"
What do you know about a horned man named Tyr?
There's a god named Tyr.
Right. Do people just take that name?
Typically, those with an education of the gods would never take a name of a god.
So what are you implying?
He may not know what it is, or he is beseeching the name of the god of justice.
Do you think he's that arrogant?
I don't think anyone would be that arrogant. Tyr would send his knights to destroy that in an instant.
Fair. Okay. Have you heard any other rumblings of the elemental gates?
The gate in Valoria is still secured. We went and visited the Leviathan, which continues to reduce the waters for the seas.
Okay.
But other than that, it seems peaceful.
Okay.
What are you two doing?
It's very hot in here, dude.
It is.
Bro,
It's getting warm.
It's getting warm?
It's pretty.
Did you kill the AC before? Did you turn it up? Because I had it at
mixer.
I had it at 68. What did you bring it up to?
What it's supposed to be
69.
at.
73 or 74?
80.
Oh, that's why. Because I've been keeping this house at 71 lately.
Yeah, I
My
know.
house doesn't go
Jackson,
above
go hit
70.
that thermostat, baby.
My house doesn't go above
For the love
70.
of God, can we
This should be in for my electric bill.
I pay the electric bill.
make his ass work one overtime shift a month? You good?
I would make more an overtime shift.
She would.
He
Just
won't,
make him go work
he
one.
won't let me work
He's got too
overtime.
much time on his hands. Let's face it.
Anyway,
Ouch.
Anyway, is there anything else you wish to ask him?
Hearts to Shane. Hearts to Shane. It is hot though.
Is there any way you can?
Jackson, just go adjust the air real quick.
Let him finish his part before I cut over to you two talking.
This may be a lot to ask, but if you sense any disturbances at that gate, is there any way you can contact me?
We'll contact you, but I'm pretty sure the mistress of the storm could handle it on her own, don't you?
Well, yes, but I also like to be involved here.
I'll pass it along. The second I'm aware.
Oh, that's
All right.
Um,
Thanks,
Any further
I just
information?
got waved off.
It's you for real.
Any further information about the tournament that you need to pass along?
I know that I can just get in, even though I wasn't chosen.
Are you confident in that? Our previous understandings was that it was an open invitation. That
Well, yes, if we heard about it, and I did hear about it.
is there any trials that need to be participated in? Are you confident in your ability to pass?
Kind of planning on crossing that bridge when I got there. What do you know?
It's future science, bro.
I don't, but you should seek out one of the other previous participants.
And those are.
Information that'd be hidden away from the eyes of Sturgenvoss, counting that our job is to end this tournament and free the thousands of souls that are banished to it.
Okay, fair.
Hunt down a participant, get information before you dive headfirst into something.
I would never.
We discussed this.
Fair.
Goodbye, Solomon.
Where am I supposed to find somebody who's participating? I didn't even know this tournament existed until yesterday.
What?
As the beautiful sounds of rock.
That's everything that you hear. This crashing of stone. It sounds like a fucking landslide.
Even about sinners.
You hear Ted screaming.
Back to reality.
Oh, there goes gravity.
Mom spaghetti.
You wake up, throw up on yourself, you ate spaghetti.
all these needles.
So, Blythe, Ketra, seated in the dimly lit home of Blythe, this small fire rolling in Blythe's very small fireplace.
Get the fuck out of here.
Wait, what?
Shut up. A small fire rolling in the Blythe-sized fireplace that kind of illuminates Blythe's sitting area, which you can see Blythe has built, like, used books to make walls and, like, separate rooms here when she walks on the
That
ground.
sounds stupid. I wouldn't have done that.
It does.
I would assume that you would have something to divvy up your rooms of your quote-unquote house.
Wait,
Or is it just all one giant sitting room?
What?
It's a regular sized house, but she's this big, so it's a mansion.
So Ketra,
So done.
something I need to show you. Close your eyes.
Oh god.
What?
I would like to go get my dog.
Okay.
It wouldn't be a puppy anymore because he's 2 years old.
They take forever to age.
Oh, great.
So as you
I mean, Australian Shepherds are puppies till they're like 4.
you go into the back room and you bring out and Ketra, you immediately get this foreboding feeling. This anxiety immediately swells in you as something comes into the room. Your heart racing as you just feel something.
Why do I feel suddenly scared?
As you see one of Jaden's dogs is staring at you.
No, stop hurting me! Stop hurting me!
What? This is so cute!
Is it's just staring at you.
I named him
And banana?
Onyx.
Onyx.
Blythe is his middle name.
Onyx Blythe. What's his last name?
I don't have a last name, so why would he have a last name?
It's Onyx Blythe? Why would it just be...
Why is Blythe's middle name if he doesn't have a last name?
I'm gonna put out the metal hand. Attempt to pet the dog. Let it sniff me.
It doesn't move. It's just staring at you.
I would like to pet my puppy. Does it give me affection? What?
It normally does. It normally does. It's normally a very playful puppy, but it's just staring at Ketra. This
What are these dogs?
piercing stare. They have the ability to see the truth. They see your deepest desire.
Okay, great.
But there's also another aspect of this.
He got it from.
I heard all that
She
ruckus,
got it
right?
from the dog man. On
You
the island.
you hear Ketra uncomfortable inside. Like you hear a little bit of talking. You just see this dog staring at Ketra. Just eyes wide. It doesn't blink. They have
I do. I opened my eyes.
they have this crimson kind of iris around their eyes, and they're black over, as it's just staring at you.
That thing don't like him.
Just go back to swinging.
Just a swing.
Where did you get this?
Swing.
I acquired him.
So
He was being hurt in the fire and I rescued him.
no. I'm very well aware of these things. He would be fine in the fire.
They sleep in lava.
But he would have been alone and he was a puppy, so now he lives with me because I'm a queen and royalty gets them only.
That is true. Jaden would sell them to royal families on occasion.
I see. Well, this is very fun.
It doesn't blink. It's just staring
I'm
at
taking
you.
my eyes off this fucking thing.
Why doesn't he like you?
I don't know. Nope. No.
Probably your weird ass arm.
Ted, quiet, please.
Center.
15 minutes passes, and it's just staring at
So
you.
any kind of like comments or conversation, I'm still locked in
Okay.
with this thing. So, how long did it take for you to make Lithtopia?
I mean, it took a long time to slowly rebuild everything, and then to try and, coax people to come back was also.
Yeah, how did that go from the Goblin Mountain?
I mean, they didn't want to stay in the Goblin Mountain, and once they saw Blythtopia, they were very willing to get rid of their jars to come live with me.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
You're making my dog very uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's me.
Roll an insight. Roll an investigation check there, Ketra.
Insight.
Investigation.
Oh, I have the. Oh, it's investigation. I have my paper. Hold on. Still unorganized. Center again? I did. Investigation?
Yes.
10.
10. There's something very familiar as the eyes kind of blink for a second, and that's it.
Oh no. What a bastard.
No.
No, what?
No.
What?
Dirty.
The dog doesn't move, it's just staring at you.
Has this dog always been like this? Until recently? Maybe a day ago?
He was fine. Like, when you went to the room, he was running, jumping, playing.
He was fine when I just went and got him from the room. It wasn't until he saw you, and you were giving him this evil look.
My eyes were closed. My eyes were closed. My eyes were closed. You hear that? My eyes were closed.
He's yelling at the dog now.
No.
Or he's sternly talking at the dog.
I closed my eyes. I've did everything you wanted me to do.
Are you talking to me or the dog? I'm getting really confused.
Nope, talking to the dog, right?
Doesn't
You're
move.
a dog.
Just looking at him.
Onyx?
He looks at you.
See, he's fine.
Goes back and just looking down at snout at you.
Life.
Yes.
Can you put your bracelet on and take a walk with me? There's something I would like to do. And I feel like it would be nice if you went with me.
Okay, Onyx has to go for a walk anyways.
Please don't pick Onyx.
Look at his little face.
He's just staring at you. Like the best way a dog could deadpan.
Yeah, you're psychopath. I'll put you in the dog out and do it again.
It's not threatening the dog.
I'm muttering under my breath so he can hear me.
Alright. I'll leave the dog here.
You?
It hops off and walks back to its room, and as it it walks into the room and just staring at you as it slowly the door just
Yeah, I can't be on that thing.
Why? Take the dog.
Take a walk.
So you guys walk outside as Ted is full swing on the swing set. like when you sit in like a swing on like a porch, it's like a
swing.
It's like a regular, like you just rocking it. I'm talking like you're like swinging.
Like pumping your feet hard. What'd you do with it, Ted?
Swinging.
All right.
What's it look like?
As you guys now hear the deafening crashing of stone.
Ah, the sounds of my people. It's very soothing, isn't
That's the
it?
sinners down there, gobbledygooking it up. I don't know.
Rip globbity-gloo.
Wow.
We're gonna take a quick walk, Ted. We'll be right back.
Yeah, whatever. Can you shut them up on your way by?
That's more of a thing.
At that point, the prayer does come to an end. It's been about an hour or so.
Hey, that's a cute puppy you got there. Too bad it hates Ketra.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't know why either. Can I pet it?
Maybe later.
At this point, Turok, you would come up for your nightly kind of debrief with Blythe.
Tell you what.
Blythe, my majesty, I would like to discuss all of the happenings in town today. We relocated and brought some... yes?
Troy, I'm gonna take a walk with my old friend.
I shall wait by your house for you.
Yes.
Understood.
I'm coming back shortly.
I'll walk up to Ted and just sit down next to Ted.
Sits down the swing with you.
So it stopped swinging.
It immediately just comes to an abrupt stop.
Well, it's not like I was swinging or nothing.
That is good.
Yeah. So, what was that you was mumbling out there with your rock buddies?
We were reaching out to each other, reaching out to our brethren that are not here with us,
Yeah.
connecting with those long lost.
You know what I was doing?
What were you doing?
Swinging.
But you just told me you were not swinging.
No, I was definitely in the middle of swinging when you sat down. I mean, you sat down.
I am slightly confused by your
Yeah.
way of speech. You just told me moments ago that you were not swinging.
I plead to you, rock man. Let's swing. Or get the fuck up off my swing.
I don't like the hostility you're bringing.
That wasn't my style.
I would go ahead and get up if you ask nicely.
Or you could swing, one or the other.
I could try to swing, but I think it's gonna throw off the balance. I'll start swinging, and I'm not sure what our weight differences are. Is there one or?
It's actually pretty close.
Okay.
Because he's made of like metal and wood and like heavy woods. As you guys start to swing, you hear this whining noise coming from Blythe's front porch. It's holding, but it's just.
Who's the big spoon and who's the little spoon on the swing?
It's a whatchamacallit, like a bench swing.
Oh, it's a face to face?
No.
Awkward, like,
No, like a.
oh, it's a side to side. I thought it was like the horse.
We're on a porch.
It'd be funnier if it was the horse.
A rocking horse? What the heck?
Are you kidding me? What?
I could see that. No.
I can see a rocket. Okay.
Like the ones that are like a seesaw, like you sit on either side facing each other. It's just the two of them.
I just thought it'd be really funny if
We're
they were like
just a
face to
swing.
face.
That's weird.
I think whatever.
That is
So-
weird. I don't even know why I would go that route.
I have fantasies.
You two are in the
Both
midst
way.
of swinging
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
Ketra and Blythe go for a walk.
Hey, Rockman.
So, what did you want to talk about?
So I am sorry that I was away for so long.
I appreciate your apology.
I was trading for 2 years with a wolf that you precariously got a puppy from.
I got him legally and naturally.
Those dogs were very unkind to me during my training. I have a few bites and dental prints from them all over my body.
But not from my little guy.
I'm waiting on it.
Well, stop giving him the evil eye.
He was giving it to me first, and I just have a funny feeling about him. That's all. I'm sure he's a great dog.
What? Why are you glaring at me?
I got a puppy, and you're gonna ruin it.
I'm gonna ruin it.
Ruin everything.
Damn, just attack him where
The
don't
dog
you?
is very familiar to me.
But it's a puppy.
Yeah,
And he wasn't there.
yeah,
Because he was with me.
Yep. But who was he with before?
I'm not sure whose house he was living in.
Where was he bred?
Well, I mean, they all came from the same place.
This is the first one I've encountered outside of his grasp, and he gave me the same look that the other ones did before they would snap at me.
It's also the same look Jaden would give you when he was
Yeah, I
disappointed in
know.
you.
He looked disappointed, which makes me very uncomfortable.
You ever seen a dog look at somebody disappointingly?
It's kind of like how
I
my
have.
parents look at me. Jesus Christ.
I'd like to head towards the citrus groves.
Okay.
While I'm talking with him.
The AIDS grove.
I like to also make sure I have 2 cups with me.
Okay.
Okay. It was very hard. I'm sure you've heard stories of screaming from the island, apparently.
Well, I didn't hear any screaming from him.
And you weren't at the island.
That's why you said you heard rumors of some screaming on the island.
Oh, I mean, yes, I did hear rumors of screaming.
I thought you were just being blithe about it. I didn't hear it. So.
I mean, I didn't hear it.
That was me through my training. I'm a lot stronger than I was before. I'm trying to be optimistic, and it's hard. 2 years has been very difficult on me. I'm sure it's been difficult with the challenges of running a town.
Lightopia is pretty good, like, smooth sailing.
It's good. I would say, are we at the groves?
Yeah, you guys will make it to the groves. It's pretty close by.
And
It's not a huge city.
Are there like little logs where you can sit? Or something?
There'd be like rest benchings. Yeah.
So I've gestured to one of the benches, and I'm gonna start picking fruit. Well, I have missed 2 birthdays, 34 and 35.
What?
Yeah.
Who's 34?
Ketra.
Me a year ago.
Ketra turned 34 and 35.
Your birthdays. I thought you were talking about my birthdays, and I was like, I'm not talking about that.
I miss those, and I've thought about a lot of things in the past 2 years. I've thought about the Rust Marsh. I've thought about losing my arm. Thought about you, my friends. I'm gonna start crushing everything down.
He's making you juice.
Obviously.
So, when I was a kid, I was born during a tournament. There would be a challenge every year. One slave against the king. And the stakes was to the death. And if the slave won, we'd all be free. And every year, on my birthday, my mom would make me this. And I'd sit in the stands. And I would pray. One of my people delivered us from all of that. So, I thought a lot about that. Put it in front of her. And that's what I want to do. I want to be stronger. I want to be the strongest.
So you want to fight the king and free the slaves?
I want to free my people. I want to free my mom and my dad. Or not my dad, sorry, my mom and my sister. And despite all of this, and defeating a lot of things, I don't think I'm strong enough for. And I'm worried about it. And I'm worried about going to this tournament and dying and not being able to do it. And my mother dying a slave. And my sister dying a slave.
I don't know if this will make you feel better. But if you die in this tournament, then nothing else will matter.
I know
Oh my god.
I know what you're trying to do,
I mean, she's not wrong.
but 2 things happen when I die. One, my mother dies a slave and dies a terrible, lonely, cold death, as does my sister. 2, I will go to the final conflict.
What? But if you die in the tournament, that's kind of like a combat, and then wouldn't you go to the?
Yep. That dream is very much gone. When I die, I am taken by Amma.
Your sword?
She's a lot more powerful than the sword. So, there are a lot of things I need to do, and I can't do it without.
Well, I mean, I can do what I can, but I can't just up and leave my people.
So, that's it. It's a nice birthday.
Is today your birthday?
I don't remember anymore.
Catcher lost track of days.
And then I'm just gonna kind of sit in silence for the rest of the night, unless there's anything else.
Can I like prestidigitation like a cupcake?
That's a nice thought.
I will let you prestidigitate a cupcake for this one.
Happy birthday!
It's mainly wheatgrass, but it's there. I'm
Yeah,
joking.
just cupcake.
Wheatgrass is fine. The sandwich.
More like wheat ass.
Salame, bro.
Just gonna sit and I'll just eat.
So, do you two want to discuss anything, Torok and Ted?
Are we still swinging?
Yeah. Waiting on Blythe to get back.
Discuss.
All right.
Hey,
So-
Rockman.
Yes.
Rockman. So, nah, I'm not doing that. So, what's going on, man?
I'm waiting for Blythe to come back.
That it?
I have to give her the breakdown of everything that happened today.
What
It's part of my duties.
happened? Duties.
As Ted
In all seriousness. So you got to give her a summary of the day that she just experienced?
She did not experience all of it. She was not present for the relocation of the refugees, as well as other things that have been reported to me throughout the day.
She didn't see us confiscate them jars from that weirdo red man, did she?
Indeed, that's part of the breakdown to explain.
Shit out of those jars, broke him in front of his face. I can see why you like this job. Why did we confiscate jars again?
Blythe does not like jars.
Like just the jar itself, or something in the jar, or
I did not ask. She's just very opposed to jars.
what
Oh,
about?
no. It is well known why there's no jars left.
Oh,
She doesn't like.
I'm very open with my people.
She doesn't like having the opportunity to be put inside of a jar.
oh yeah.
So we must take jars and destroy them before they enter the town.
Because of those one times. So what about canisters?
Nothing with lid. Nothing with a lid.
Lids are forbidden.
Lids are indeed forbidden.
Fair enough.
Motherfucker's literally shit, and of all people, you haven't talked to Ted.
Hey, I didn't tell him to come swinging with me. So, let's keep swinging.
So,
Would you like to enjoy some dinner with me?
Go on.
I pull out a rock. Just and offer it.
it's like an apple-sized rock. He just smears it into his face. Ted crushes it as the stone breaks apart on his face. You take a bite out of yours.
Looks like you're enjoying that rock.
It's like Cookie Monster.
Nom, 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 nom.
Was this aged in an oak barrel?
I think it was aged underground.
You found it on your walk over here.
Where'd my lucky rock go?
So,
Jesus Christ, Jackson.
A couple hours pass as Blythe comes back. You give her the rundown of the day,
Yes.
the relocation. What?
I'm gonna let her leave, and then I'm gonna give her like maybe like a 20.
Yeah.
15.
You give her
Still swinging, right?
the rundown of the day while swinging because Ted refuses to stop.
No. Swinging.
Swinging. You give her a rundown of the day. She retires to her home. You get ready to head home about 15 minutes later. You see Ketra as you're walking towards your place. You see Ketra walking through the streets.
Hello, Ketra.
The streets.
How was your evening?
It was nice.
Do you like Blythtopia? Is it different from when you were here?
Yes, it's very different.
Well, I hope you enjoy your stay, and if there's anything I can help you with, please don't be afraid to ask.
I feel a little spoiled, but I have at some point, I'll do it myself. Do you have a basket?
A basket?
Yeah, like a woven basket.
I can get you a basket, yes.
May I have one? Can you get me one like tonight?
I can.
Can you procure one like in a few minutes?
Are you going to wait at Blight's house or here?
I'll follow you.
Alright. I'd like to go find a basket. I'm sure we gather rocks in baskets.
Yeah, there's baskets all over the place.
Take a basket of rocks and just be like, where's it?
Just pours it out.
And then I'm gonna go back to the orchard and
Collect some fruit. Okay. So you all eventually retire for the night. Take the benefits of a long rest if anybody has any problems.
He eventually comes back.
Yeah, he'll eventually come back.
I stop swinging.
I'm gonna have
He's got a basket of.
I rolled a natural 20 again.
hell yeah.
For what?
For my.
So every day Michael is a divination wizard, so he gets to roll a Podience ability.
I don't know what any of those words mean.
So he gets 2 d20s at the start of every long rest, and he can give those dice rolls to somebody.
So he can get
Before you roll.
So he's just
Before you roll.
2
He has 1 d20 and an 18 banked that he can assign out at any point in time. So he can. So if he rolls like a natural 1 though on those, he can give it to an enemy on a check.
Because I saw the future.
What's up? Alright.
So you and Ketra are.
So
Ketra has a basket, like a
digging my-
basket of fruit.
Wait, are you stealing food from my people?
He's acquiring fruit.
he's acquired AIDS.
You got AIDS.
I can't get AIDS.
It's true. You're immune to disease.
So am I.
All right, so
I have no blood, so AIDS can get me. Catch her. Well, I can see next to me. Come swing with me for a bit.
You're sharing that swing with everybody.
well, he's a swinger. That's what he does. He shares the swing.
You made it weird now.
Put
You made
your
it
keys
weird
in the
now.
bowl. I'm gonna sit next to.
Oh wow. Alright. That's where we're at now, I guess.
So you sit down next to.
Oh. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing it.
Are you?
It's been rough.
I know you fairly well. Looking all sad and whatnot.
Yeah, I miss my friends.
I too have missed the light of friendship. As the squids attempted to snuff it out.
I'm glad you're back.
Yeah, it's good to be back. What's this about this tournament thing? I was dozing off.
There's a tournament of power, and each plane has a team of 8, except for the material plane, which is our plane. We get 16. Came to me in a vision. A Valkyrie of Tibius.
Alright.
So, my estimation is that the Heavenly Seven are going to be there.
So you can buy it off Wally Mays farm in retribution. Or kill him. I'd kill him, but you may
I'm gonna probably try to kill him. Yeah.
I mean, you can buy this arm off first and then, kill him.
My mouth doesn't get that big, but I like where you're going with it. I was thinking more ripping it and then just beating him senseless with his arm.
I mean,
Or I could just take my arm off and beat him senseless with that.
That's what I was getting at, because his arm be soft, and your arm is like real hard. You know,
Yeah.
Can he use that as a weapon? Like,
Why not?
It's a club at that point.
My arm.
And alright, so we're gonna go. I'm assuming we're going to this tournament, and we're just gonna kill a bunch of stuff, right? Is it to the death?
I don't know. I think we could set the own rules for it. I think the Valkyrie told me we could set our own rules, so it doesn't always have to be to the team.
But it can be always to the death.
I mean, we're gonna have to pick a captain.
Alright. Be the captain?
Well, me.
Because I don't care about such accoutrement.
I mean, I feel like it should be up to a vote, but I appreciate it.
I feel like it's a lot of responsibility, and I'm mainly interested in the killing part, so I'm probably not the best fit for that.
Yeah, no,
I'm definitely not the best fit for that. Yeah, no, I'm just, like, right now, I've been swinging now for about 4 hours.
Yeah.
I don't think that's cat material, to be honest.
I mean, whatever makes you happy, you know.
I've been able to search my soul a lot down there in the abyss, in the deep, in the dark, in the Squid Eats world. Down there, that actually is when I have flashbacks. What's your...
I've been having flashbacks too. I mean, nothing as bad as the Swedes, but I've had some.
Each their own.
I've been going through some stuff myself. Trying to do stuff.
What do you want to do tomorrow?
I was thinking. Well, I've been training for 2 years. What's another day of training? I was gonna get up pretty early, probably, you know, and then maybe take a lap around Blocktopia. Start with that, and then lots of push-ups, sit-ups, and juice.
Alright, well, I can join you in all those things if you want. I'll just watch you sleep from the window since I'm back.
Would you like me to watch me sleep from the window?
Yeah.
Oh,
Creepy as fuck. Ted's a stalker you're friends with. That's what Ted is.
No, he's not. I asked him to do it for me. You know what I need you to do? I need you to make sure that dog stays very far away from me.
That cute little puppy? I want to pet it.
Ted's gonna watch it through the...
She said I'm allowed to pet it at some point.
You can pet it, just make sure it doesn't come to me.
Oh, alright.
Okay, Jaden, the guy who trained me, had a bunch of those dogs. And the look...
Is that the one you tossed in the lava?
Yeah.
Wait, did you toss the dog?
No, I tossed him. You know, I tossed him into the lava because he made a deal with the Heavenly Seven because he was like a werewolf. I've only seen like
oh shit! Alright.
I've only heard about it. Did I ever see him?
I don't know where I was.
You see like his eyes change occasionally, like canine
like. He got, like really angry. He would like turn into a wolfman.
I don't know where I was at this time on this island, but I believe you.
No,
you were not on the island. That was before. That was when you were spending your 2 years underwater.
When I was training. And the
I
look,
believe you.
and the look that dog gave me, same look he would make me when I was.
So
I think he's looking through the dog.
So these similar looks. Is he the dog or is he looking through the
I think he's looking through the dog because I put that him in lava. They ain't coming back from lava.
Lava's pretty badass.
Yeah.
Because of the implication.
Yeah.
Alright, so keep the dog away. You're gonna go running?
Yeah. Get clean. Healthy.
What?
I don't know.
Healthy. You're not gonna outrun you, right?
Yeah, but you know I gotta.
I'll pace you.
I would be more than happy to pace you.
Because I can just kind of keep going.
We should arm wrestle later. I want to see how strong they are.
Which are?
Natural arm.
Because I feel like that Golemar is probably stronger, to be honest.
No, it probably is, but I gotta make sure this is big.
You gotta imagine, right?
I think his bicep curls just doesn't
Yeah, I was gonna say, Catcher just walks around constantly doing bicep curls on one side.
Yeah, I gotta make sure I'm symmetrical.
Do you use this arm as like a weight?
I do now.
So,
Question.
yes.
Are we still rocking?
Do I have like some type of link with my dog or anything, or it's just
You right?
no?
I mean,
Can I
just this way.
talk to? Can I telepathically link to it?
You haven't seen it yet.
Sit. No.
Oh, yes. Stay your ass away.
So, y'all retire.
Okay.
We're done swinging.
Morning comes.
We're done swinging.
That was fun.
Morning comes. You guys begin hearing people in the streets getting situated, starting their day, farmhands going out to work the fields, stuff like that.
Be up before we're done.
Go for your run.
I'm gonna put Griswold's armor out, make sure it's polished, and then I'm gonna put Jaden's swords on the other side and make sure they're polished. And I'm gonna set Amma open so sunlight.
I never asked it before, but can I rotate my body and so I can run forward and look back at him and coach him?
That's really weird.
That's really
Well, probably not. I don't know.
Why wouldn't
Nah.
you just run backwards?
You can just run backwards.
This hit a lot of
This
things.
smart man over here just run backwards.
As you,
I need to
Why
go
wouldn't
stand
you be
by.
able to just turn around like
Can I turn
owl?
my head?
Like 360 owl.
yes, I'll let your head rotate.
You're welcome.
I'd like to go to the well and try to see if my dragon would like to get back on me.
Okay. So
I'd like to stand 30 feet away.
so
I don't run in real life.
As-
Where's my pretend life?
as Ketra, you and Ted are out for your morning run. Solomon, I'm assuming you're up in prayer on the kind of balcony of your room at dawn. You're
I'm
waking.
gonna go look for the grub.
Yeah. So you two are running, Solomon, you're there, and you see as the sun begins to kind of crest, light kind of piercing through the foliage, you see the plants of the night begin closing up and kind of going back into a dormant state. And as light kind of comes through, you can see this large draconic figure that's kind of sleeping at the center of town begin to kind of shake and shudder its body as it begins to stand up. You see this drip kind of coming from its mouth, this large bits of magma falling and just kind of burning into the ground.
Do I need to respect it?
Respect it.
Respect.
As it kind of stands up, it kind of rights itself. It billows in its chest a little bit, and you see Torok come out and kind of like bringing his hand up as this thing begins kind of growling and snapping towards him.
Does it puff?
It's puffing.
Does he puff back?
Do you puff back?
A little bit, yes.
It's a big creature.
Bro, you
It's
gotta puff back to these motherfuckers.
but you see Torok start walking towards this thing as it's snapping towards him, and this magma flow kind of pooling out of its mouth.
What you doing there?
Just stand back for a few moments.
Fine.
See all the townsfolk. There is no one. Like the town's beginning to bustle. The day is beginning. There is no one in the town center as Torok's walking towards this thing.
I'm gonna drink buff.
All right, so I'm going to use control mineral, and it needs to make a wisdom saving throw
7 plus its wisdom modifier.
plus 3, so 10.
10.
So it fails.
Okay. As it kind of snarls, it kind of retracts itself and then kind of gives into its body a little bit, kind of
I'll walk
relaxing
up and
some,
Put my head on it.
and kind of rests its head on yours, and then it kind of begins climbing on you as armor.
Thank you, friend.
Does the big ass dragon climb on me?
Uh-huh.
Did you just see that shit, Catcher?
Yeah, no, I didn't. That was crazy language.
All right, you can all go ahead and come down now. It's okay.
You see people now starting to walk into the town center.
We're power walking. Is that what we're doing?
Fast walking.
What? You would have been in the you would have been in the inn.
Can I go greet?
The girliest exercise.
You can. It's back to being in dormant, but yeah.
Maybe in dormant.
It goes to a dormant state when it's on him. It goes to sleep.
I'm sure it would wake up.
It would wake up to Blythe.
Yeah.
It would wake up to you.
Okay.
Hot goss around the
So
neighborhood.
I would like to go and like, I'm Blake Jr.
Little BJ.
We don't praise
Jesus.
Drink Praising.
That one was on purpose. That one was on
Little
purpose.
DJ. Little Beige.
The eyes kind of open and kind of rubs its head into your hand.
As we go power walking by.
As you see the two of them walking by.
I'm not wearing my head is backwards. In front of them. You fat double lard, you some bitch, you're slow.
How much body fat do I have on?
Like none.
Okay, cool. I don't have body issues.
Skinny people still have body issues.
I know, that's why I said I do.
Move it.
You guys kind of finish your morning routines across the table.
One arms, handstand push-ups are good.
But eventually you all come together in the inn for breakfast as a meal is prepared across Blythe's table. Eggs,
You guys have
traditional
eggs?
breakfast. There's chickens, but they don't butcher them because they need the eggs.
Ooh, legs and pancakes.
Legs and bland cakes and blanket.
So,
Eggs.
Taking this a little too far.
Eggs.
Orange juice?
Eggs, Blythetic.
10.
I don't know about that one.
I like Eggs Benedict. Fuck you.
No, I knew what you were getting at. Yes, solo man.
You never told us. How did you get out of the abyss?
Take a nap. I'm gonna tell Solo Man to take a lap around the tavern.
You're still a man.
Take a lap.
So, you guys are seated for breakfast to come up with your plan from here.
So,
That's the name of
You were in the game, Aaron.
Weren't you in it?
You were in Out of the Abyss. Aaron, you take a lap for real.
Sorry.
Take a real
You guys
lap.
broke Becca.
I'm literally retarded.
all right, people. We need to make a plan.
4.
Are you kidding? Go away.
I'm also lost.
Take a lap.
I feel like there's multiple plans that need to be made.
Solomon's getting up.
No.
Multiple laps.
I feel like
Does this include the whole town, or like, or is that like?
No, we
limited?
sit at a table.
Oh, okay. I'm
Tears just at the table. Oh, you're here.
No, I said
Oh, this
my
fucking
table.
guy here.
Tear starts walking around the table. How many was I supposed to do with this?
2 more.
So, what is our plan for the tournament? When is it? Where is it? How are we gonna get there?
I know. We have to go to the cloud steps where we will go onto a train full of other contestants in an
Correct.
unknown location.
So, you want me to get on a train?
Yeah, trains are fun. Oh, so I hear.
Let's go into an unknown location.
Yeah.
You also don't know the date of when it is.
And we don't. So, you don't know any of this information for a tournament.
Well, I figured we'd show up
I-
and blow
I
up.
feel like the
You guys
training's
talking
been done
about
before
fighting
to very
festival?
bad results.
Yes.
I
What's
can't just
going
go
on
on
with
some
that?
random adventure.
I spoke to my high priest last night.
Oh.
Um,
He's a man of the people now. He's a man of God now.
Dear, I can fill you in after the meeting.
No, but like he knows
Okay.
who the God is.
I'm excited for a
yeah,
good
yeah.
little
Tell us.
rumble.
Not real.
I mean, he's real.
Not real currently.
Yeah, alright.
That's fair.
Oof.
I work for Stinking Boss now.
Stinking Vost?
You're a good boss.
Who that? New phone.
So yeah,
This new phone of God.
he's known as the God Slayer.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah. You know,
you're friends with a
Can't
God.
slay him.
slayer?
I wouldn't say
It's like
friends,
town.
but the basic idea is if another guy gets a little too uppity,
Whoa.
we take
Alright.
care of it, right? So anyway,
Oh.
spoke to the high priest.
Alright.
The advice he gave
Yeah.
was to find a previous contestant. Apparently, there's some trials involved to get into the tournament.
Oh, so it's like a prerequisite matchup for it.
Right. So, you know, I tried to ask him if he knew any previous contestants, and then, you know, things started getting fuzzy. But
The two of you.
So, we haven't gotten any information.
Basically. Except for these,
What's the prize for
this
the
magical train that takes us to somewhere.
But
Come on, man.
You should really look into Eberron.
The what?
There's trains in Eberron. It's a D&D setting. They're super cool.
Are these
is there any way we can find out information?
steam?
Well, he said we gotta find a previous contestant.
How do we find that?
I tried asking Torok's chanting overpowered.
That's what you call
Keep
that?
using the hand, not okay.
Overpowered the conversation I was having.
It was not just my chanting, it is my people.
What's that?
I said it was not just me, it was my whole people out there.
Torok and others. They're chanting.
We refer to ourselves as the family.
The family's chanting, if you will.
Torok's interaction with people is great because he doesn't understand how to be offended or hurt by people. He just has to accept that everybody's nice to him.
Aww.
I guess you can call that chanting.
So,
if you're,
what is the
dead.
prize for this tournament you guys are going after?
Yeah, it's a person.
Are we even sure that that's the prize?
You guys are
Because
gonna win.
you guys literally know
person?
nothing about
She
this
told me.
tournament. Who told you? How did you find Evelyn? And how did she know that she was the prize?
She scribed me.
Go ahead and scry. She just messaged you.
She was
She's
able to-
sending.
She was able to use sending. She was able to tell me. She was captured. They were keeping it.
Oh.
Did she tell you where they were keeping her?
A friend
able to
of
tell
hers
me.
got. Wow, this.
I'm
this
sorry,
is like
she
a
wasn't
very
able
nice
to. I
friend.
tried to get as much
I
out of
just-
her as I could.
This is a really big plane. And I don't know.
Yeah, we do cloud steps, man.
Torok, to you, it's not that big of a plane.
It's actually really small.
It's finite.
I mean, you can get from one side to the other in a matter of weeks. I'm sorry, my queen. Continue. I did not mean to offend you.
Well, I mean,
It's been like 6 hours.
that's
Yeah,
life.
mouthy.
That's life here on the flat plane, man.
I'm just concerned.
Yes. Do you have like a second command? There's gotta be like a chain of command.
We have no plan.
Yeah.
We don't know any information.
Not true, but okay.
But what's the information you know besides?
Location.
What's the
rule
location?
set, the cloud steps.
No.
Wherever
I
that
said
is.
the cloud steps to the train to an unknown location. Maybe that's the name. It could be unknown location Cleveland. We don't know.
What's a Cleveland?
I think it's a land of cleavers.
So
Land of Stevens.
I had a really nice 2 years.
Just like old times, Black.
It's old times.
Old times.
Oldest times.
Oldest of times.
Tale as
I
old
was-
as blood.
I was advised very strongly not to go in head first.
Okay, so we gotta find
So we go
ourselves
feet
a.
first.
You can't even get in because you don't know where you're going.
Yes, we do. The cloud steps.
We're on Cloud 9.
When do you have to be there?
Well, I would assume as soon as possible.
Where's the nearest train?
That's a great
I'd like to gaze my eyes upon this iron horse.
The only trains are in the cloud steps.
They're only in the cloud steps, but.
Oh.
It's just to go from north and
Gaze
south.
my eyes upon this iron horse. Okay. So maybe I do a little of the praying. Maybe we ask some questions. Maybe we can find a form of artistic.
That's a good idea.
If they survived.
My guy seemed pretty tight-lipped. Not gonna lie.
Well,
You can have your lieutenants get some experience managing the city.
I do have quite a few people that are rather.
Test them.
wait,
So that
hold
way,
on.
if they fail, you can take their head. And you
Hold
go
on.
back.
Torok has an answer.
There's no killing in Blythetopia.
All right, so you
Except for
can
those who bring in jars.
There is
You
quite
can shame them.
quite an expansive amount of lifespan amongst the elementals here. They've all lived. I mean, I'm 137 years old.
You look
It's, thank you.
And this
It's very possible that they could know some information.
tournament happens, what was it, every 25 years?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a solid 5 chances that they would know something about this.
Do you know about this?
I've never heard of anything like this.
So they would know, though.
Potentially, they come from
Possibly.
a variety of different backgrounds and lives.
You said you could commune with all of your people, right?
Somewhat, yes.
Well, maybe you want to send out a
Commune?
Sure, and I'll stand up and walk outside.
He stands up. No, because the floors throughout the entire
Oh, are
city
they?
are grass.
Okay,
You just gotta dig your feet
I'll
into
get out
the
of my
dirt.
chair and sit on the ground and dig my toes in, dig my fingers in, and close my eyes.
Toes in the water, toes in the sand.
And I'll send out a message.
Roll a charisma check.
Ooh, 9.
You can feel the energies of the earth, but you can't reach out to anybody.
I can't reach out to anyone. I could go ask the people that are here, but I'll have to go down and
Okay, yeah.
talk.
Do you have any other resources?
Do I have any of those?
Does anybody?
I want to.
I can try to pray and
I can ask
try to
around
talk
a
to,
lot.
Well, these are Blight's people.
Can I maybe try to get myself to the great conflict and see if I can talk to anyone?
You roll a religion check.
Surely they would.
Excuse me, has anyone ever been in a tournament?
Surely they would have died and said.
Hello?
The Dark Tournament.
What?
Is that like a reference to something? Are you getting?
No, that's what Shane's called it, but I'm not
Is it
sure what
really?
it's called.
No, it's
17 plus
Called
6.
Cell games.
I was about to be
23.
super excited.
7, yeah, 20.
You pray and you truly focus in, and you make it to the conflict. but where you're normally met, somebody's there. You can see that the spanning battlefield seems diminished.
Yeah, because they're going to the tournament.
Like the numbers are gone for the most part.
What?
So the great conflict is just a minor annoyance.
Yeah,
Yeah, alright.
it just seems to be.
Stop it, Brandon!
It just doesn't seem like the conflict. It seems like there is a pause in the battle,
So everything's just like calm.
and everybody's just looking at you.
Hey,
There's no response.
question about the tournament of power, if anyone can indulge me. I've been chosen.
They're all just staring at you.
Tempest here. Is there anyone in charge?
You're on like that hill that you're normally on, looking down.
So
at
I'm
them.
gonna. Is anyone in charge? From the material plane, it took a lot for me to get here.
You really should stop yelling.
I'm sorry, can you hear me from this distance?
I'm behind you. You should look around more.
Oh well! There it goes!
As you turn around, the Valkyrie that you had spoke to before is standing behind
I
you.
got her name. It's in my notes amongst all my shit.
Rebecca.
It's not Rebecca. Rebecca's right here.
I'm so confused.
It's
Sandy.
Syrah.
Oh shit.
Syrah!
She looks at you and she goes, yes.
You are a well of information, Master Spoke. And I greatly appreciate that.
I serve second to the god of conflict, so I would hope so.
Yes. I need a little bit more information.
Those that pray rely only upon it to gather information.
I'm sorry, how are you doing?
There's a reason that I don't take prayers.
Okay. Well, information. So I tried getting my friends together for the team. But they bring up some really good points, like, where's this thing taking place? Where are the trials? When is it? I'm sorry, you saw how, like, excited I get? Because it's been 2 years of just pent-up aggression. I really want to punch someone's face in. I'm just so conflicted.
Does Tempest humor this?
Yes. No, well, technically,
This constant reliance upon him to answer all your questions.
no. I technically, I haven't asked him a lot of questions. It's mostly been my uncle, and he usually didn't humor me either. Usually it was him, like, on a horse, and me on this hill going, and then that's been about it.
The information you need, you have.
What is it?
Search your belongings. She just kind of hits you in the head as you kind of slide back in your chair as you come back to.
You alright there?
Yeah, I gotta go check my belongings.
For what?
I don't know, a date!
Oh, so
I
your
had
guy
dates, but they threw him away.
your guy gave you as much information as my guy gave me, huh?
Negative, I at least know where the train is.
Who are you guys talking
I know there's trials.
I also know there's trial. I know there's trial.
You too petty AF. So,
I got velvet your car.
Do your friends have all but cards
So-
for a full deck?
as you storm off,
I just met them, but I think you're implying that they might not be as smart as they seem, but they are very smart.
Is this a push or a pull?
shaking the door.
Catch a pull. I'm pulling it.
They talk to the edge.
Get your pull. I am pulling.
Have you never seen anyone pray to a god before?
Away.
There are no gods in the mall.
What? Who's God?
What? Ubatao!
Hello?
The gods are beings that created the planes of existence.
I mean, people
Powerful.
have told me to pray for my life, but that just ends up really hairy.
Where do you come from?
The mall.
You don't know what that is.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. I've never heard of that.
It's a bad phrase. It's
Jackson,
not
you'll get this
fun.
reference.
What's up?
The mall is Meteor City. You're not that far in Hunter x Hunter, never mind. You'll get there.
Meteors. Wait, how far did you get?
I'm in season 1 still.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
that's nice.
The mall's a bad place.
Yeah, it's not fun. There's a long story to it, but pretty much it's ruled by some very nasty people, and you gotta kind of fight to survive. It was
I can relate.
yeah. That's why there's a lot of reasons, but I left and I'm trying to just look around.
We're happy to have you here, and so long as you are a contributing citizen, I'm sure you're more than welcome to stay in Blythtopia.
I will definitely try to be.
Oh, you don't have to bow to me. I'm not royalty. Just a warrior.
It's still out of respect.
I appreciate it.
So
He's just a rock to him.
he's pants to rocks. So, Ketra, as you swing the door open to Blythe's house, angrily looking for your things, there's just a puppy sitting in the middle of the room staring at you as you walk in.
You gonna come with me, or are you just gonna stare at me? What are you doing? I'm going upstairs. I don't give a shit about this dog.
It's a one-story house.
I'm going to my room.
So you go into your room and you find your trunk.
I'm going to my room.
As you walk past the dog, it kind of turns and it follows you and just kind of sits in the doorway of your room.
Put over, and I'm just gonna start
Wait,
looking through.
What are your possessions?
Um,
Can I see
I
the
have
dog on
the.
porch?
You're not on the porch anymore. You guys are at the end. It's the other side of town.
I have the two. I have Jaden's two swords. I have Griswold's armor and Amma. I have letters from my mom. I have
That's cute.
a drawing of my mom.
That's cute too.
I have different kind of incenses and things that I use to pray. My owl bear statue and my brazier. Anything that I'm not thinking of that that I have. I have an arm on my body.
You do.
Cool. Is the arm the date? Cool.
Well, how you fix on dates?
You need answers, man.
Anybody want to help him?
What?
How are we supposed to
I have the
look in
spirit
his
of
trunk?
friendship.
You don't have
I'm sleeping.
You got Jason's swords.
Focus on your more obscure belongings.
The pet thing.
I said owl bear. I have bubbles. That was cool.
Where are all your possessions?
I have the belt. That's on me. Did I start with it?
You've had him since the beginning.
I've had it since the beginning.
Oh,
Your cards?
yeah.
Son of a- I like to take out my hero cards, and I would like to look for a champion of the Tournament of Power.
There's a champion of the Unspoken Tournament,
Yeah.
and then there is a champion of the Blood Tournament.
Which one's this one?
You have two cards.
Okay.
Yeah, but which one?
You don't know.
Okay, cool. I like to look at those two cards.
Oh no, you have the answers. You don't know which one it is.
You don't know what tournament it is. One is the champion of the Plane of Fire.
Okay.
He was
Missionary.
no, he
Jesus Christ.
B-Dog.
Damn it, we can't talk to him.
his name is Valortrex. He's the champion of the Plane of Fire.
Which tournament was he in?
He was in the Blood Tournament.
Blood tournament? No. Bellatrix?
They said there was a freaking plane of fire.
He was the champion of the Plane of Fire. It says the card talks about in his final round of his tournament, he stood against 8. He stood alone against 8.
Stood against 8. Okay. And then what's the other one? I just want it. You said the other tournament is.
Of the Unspoken Tournament,
Uh-huh.
he was considered a top tier assassin.
Okay.
Assassin.
His name was
Bellatrix was?
no.
Oh.
This is the other guy.
Unspoken tournament. Hold on. What's his name?
We will call him
Horatio.
no.
Bobby.
Helitron.
Pelotrin?
Helitron.
Okay, he was a assassin.
He was a drow assassin.
Bobby! Oh!
So
Can it
drow.
be Bobby, please?
We're gonna fight somebody who uses
What
the
else?
robot as well.
My purse, I don't know you.
He is only considered a hero because of his actions saved the plane.
Saved the material plane?
The first card has a death date.
Alright, give me the death date.
It was about 30 or 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Year's time.
The other card does not.
Okay.
Can you see my character thing?
No.
Sam.
They have to be like freshly dead.
Well, I don't know. Most.
No, I don't think so.
You have to have the body though, right?
You'd have to have the body.
Yeah.
While Catcher's doing this, could I ritual summon my familiar? And could I send my familiar down underneath to question people if they know anything about a tournament that would happen every 25 years?
Yeah, you know that the ones that were coming from the fire elemental planes. It's an eraser. You know that the ones that were coming from the fire elemental planes, they have a little bit of more information. 1,000 souls from each plane is being collected as the kind of ante-in. The winning plane, their host, so whoever sponsored them gets claim to those souls.
Okay.
So most of your other planes are sponsored by gods and deities to some extent. You do know that we will go with, I like the name. No. No, stop speaking.
Hubert.
No, we're not doing Hubert. We'll go Cloth. Cough. They're earth elementals. They have a lot of H's and shit in their names.
Yeah.
He's an earth elemental and he was from the plane of earth. He tells you that the hunters are participating, which makes you very uncomfortable.
Just call them home.
The hunters are the ones that seek out runaway slaves in the earth elemental plane.
In the earth plane?
It sounded like it was supposed to be dramatic.
And are they earth elementals and earth? Okay.
Predominantly.
Was it?
But they are the ones that specialize in hunting down runaway slaves. So what we will do is we will call it here. That way you all can discuss and have a solid plan for going into next week. Because we play next Monday. Because you guys got a few different bits of information to work on and come up with an idea of. We did not have enough entries for the runaway or for the giveaway. So we will postpone that. Remember, come back Wednesday this week for Waterdeep. So thank you all so much for watching. Anthony, you get to be the one to turn off the stream. I can't do it from my phone. I know. I need to download. I can download an application that let me.
Literally, you can just go there now. I mean, there's this
What
thing
if you
called
just-
the internet.
What if you just got a new mouse?
I have one. It's up there. It's just a USB mouse, and my computer doesn't like any more USBs. Man, I could have stood this whole time, and I'm still in camera. Motherfucker, my ass has been asleep for like an hour.
The fact that you're still using a mouse that has that janky ass plug-in.
JDA.
Don't be mad at my plug-in.
Where the hell am I even going?
The bottom of the screen,
87.
and where it says "Stop Stream." So thank you all so much for watching. We'll be back Wednesday.
It says end stream.
Whatever. Just click the button.